Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Network Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, guys. Big news today, 8:30 a.m. It's the U.S. Red Folder PPI producers forecast. So we're going to head into a couple U.S. Red Folders. We'll do some top-down analysis on gold, COMEX news, and then we'll switch over NASDAQ US 30, and we'll go into Wall Street, guys. So again, just please trade careful, proper risk management going through that news. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. I'm just setting up YouTube and we'll get ready to go, okay? Hope everyone's having a great morning. Make sure you got some coffee and ready to go.
Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Number Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Recording in progress.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stocks Number Trading. My name is Ron. My partner is Dave. Good morning, everyone. It's almost 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Thursday, August 14. We do have some U.S. red folders at 8:30 a.m. Eastern on the PPI index. So we'll talk about that, what that is. It's got to do with producers. This week, Tuesday, we already had CPI with the consumers. So we'll go through that, and we'll do gold going into COMEX and the news. And then what we normally do is we'll switch over and we'll take a look at Dow Jones, NASDAQ, going into Wall Street. So hope everyone's having a great day. I hope you guys got some coffee and ready to go. It's going to be a busy morning. And just a reminder, please trade with proper risk management. Okay, anytime we're trading high volatility news, especially US red folders, it could get volatile. So please, guys, if you can, lower your risk during the high impact news if you are deciding to trade at that time. Okay, it's always best practice. I know some of you guys follow those rules. I know some of you guys do not follow those rules, but it's good to practice proper risk management. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. I do appreciate everyone's time. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is get into Forex Factory, just going over today's daily news. You can see today has been a busy day. It will be a busy day in the markets, probably the busiest day news-wise this entire week. We had a lot of British news regarding the pound coming out of the UK pre-London 2 a.m. So we had the UK GDP month over month. Actual results are pretty good. It was negative 0.1 in the UK GDP, that's gross domestic product, negative 0.1 previous month. And the forecast was they were forecasting a positive GDP of 0.2. And look at the actual results, 0.4%. That is significantly higher, doubling the forecast and a lot higher than the previous month. So for the UK, the British pound GDP month over month is looking really good. So that could have strengthened the pound. So if you're trading GU, that could significantly change the direction of the move today. So if you are trading that, but there was also other pound news today. Prelim GDP quarter over quarter, construction output, goods trade balance, index of services, industrial production, manufacturing production, preliminary business investment. So a lot of folders regarding the pound over here, okay? And then we continued. There was some Swiss news, had their PPI month over month. We had some European news, some French news, flash manufacturing. So we're kind of getting through all of the European news, and now we're working our way into North America with the volume coming in to the US and Toronto over here. So 8:30, this is the news I was talking about. We have 3 US red folders. So the first one, core PPI, and remember, some of you guys are getting really good at this now. So now you guys are understanding what is core PP and then what is PPI. So quickly, let's just click on the folder and let's just go over what it is. So it comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and Trump fired the person in charge of the BLS right now. So he's looking to replace them. But this is where we get all of our numbers from this bureau. What does it measure? It's a change in price of finished goods and services sold by producers. Okay, remember CPI earlier this week on Tuesday morning was about consumers. Now today it's all about the producers. Core is excluding food and energy. Okay, so this reading will come out and it's about producers excluding food and energy. Okay, and then we'll get into the next folder right over here. So you can see that they're looking for an increase in the forecast on the core PPI from 0 last month to 0.2. And then we have our PPI month over month, and it doesn't include the word core. So this will be a reading, and it will include food and over here, sorry, it will include the food and energy. Okay, so real quickly, what are producers? Okay, just a quick little understanding of it. For example, if you're shopping at Walmart, okay, a lot of us shop at Walmart where we know that store. The shelves at Walmart, those are for them to put products on their shelves at Walmart. Is it costing them more money from last month to going over to this month? So remember, all of this is the previous month, guys. So we're in August. So all of this is July. If you go back and you look at the last month and you were in, let's say, for example, Walmart, if you're buying a product off of them, is the same product costing more money, the same, or is it lower? So this is the cost of the producer to bring stuff in and put it on the shelf to sell it to us as consumers, okay? So the forecast is that they're looking for an increase. So it costs Walmart more money to put products on their shelves. And then when we talk about like food, that could be like grocery store, right? When we're talking about everything other than food, could be like Walmart, okay? So that's just a quick little understanding of producers and what PPI is, okay? And then we finally have our unemployment claims. So these are our weekly unemployment claims coming out in the US. They come out every Thursday morning at this time, 8:30. Last week, we had a result of 226,000 individuals applying for unemployment, seeking work, applying for unemployment benefits. And we have a forecast this week of relatively the same. 225,000. So we'll see what the actual number is. Is it going to be significantly higher than these numbers? Is it going to be significantly lower? Or is it going to be right around the same amount of numbers? So again, unemployment is how many individuals are seeking employment, applying for unemployment benefits, and looking for work. Okay. If this number comes in hot, like high, it's not good for the US dollar. We don't want to see these numbers increasing week over week, because then that's telling us that more individuals are seeking work and applying for unemployment benefits. Okay, so we kind of want to see these numbers lower. Then we know that we have a healthy labor force. We have a lot of U.S. citizens working and not seeking employment benefits. Okay, so that's what we have coming out at 8:30. Again, use proper risk management when you're trading through high impact news, because it could be very volatile and you don't want to do anything silly to your accounts during that time. Okay, you can wait. You have some trading rules from now. Are you going to wait for the news? Are you going to wait 5 minutes after the news, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then start to trade? Okay, and then we move into Wall Street at 9:30 a.m. We also have some British news coming out at Wall Street. I don't think that that's going to impact the way how Wall Street moves with that British low impact folder. So we'll see how Wall Street market opens. That's when we're going to switch focus, and we'll be looking at Dow Jones and NASDAQ. And then there's some more FOMC members speaking. We have U.S. mortgage delinquencies coming out, natural gas storage. So there's a lot going on in Canada with liquefied natural gas. They've kind of moved away from the United States and are now finding new trading partners in Asia and Europe. So a lot of the Canadian liquefied natural gas is starting to move and find new trading partners. So I'm also watching some liquefied natural gas Canadian companies right now on my watch list. So I'll keep you guys informed. I'll release those tickers, but that's what we're watching right now to see how that's going to impact everything over here. Okay. And then, guys, President Trump speaks at 1 p.m. this afternoon. Okay. He's due to speak in Washington, D.C. I think he's speaking there all week, throughout the week. So again, guys, anytime Mr. Trump is speaking, just be aware what time he's speaking. And because if he talks about anything about the economy, it could impact the security you're trading. Okay, especially if he's talking about tariffs or anything like that. If he gets any questions about that, could cause some volatility. So just again, be careful when he is speaking. Okay. And that will wrap up today. And then we go into the after hours. Then you can see you got some New Zealand news coming out. You have some Japanese news coming out affecting the yen. And then later tonight, we do have just some Chinese news coming out. And then we move into Friday morning tomorrow. Okay, so that's news-wise what's going on today. Earnings, guys, real quick. We had some earnings in the pre-market. John Deere company. This is your tractors, your farmers, your agriculture over here. It is a security in the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. So they came out. They released earnings per share were positive. If I refresh this, maybe we'll get some more information. But just looking through some other names, First Majestic Silver Corp. We did a blog on this company, guys. So for further education, if you want to read up on what First Majestic Silver Corp is. You don't always have to focus on gold or gold miners. There's also silver and silver miners as well out there, and copper, and a lot to do with the metals. Then we have Advanced Auto Parts. I'm looking for kind of big names that can impact Dow Jones, NASDAQ, what we'll be trading later in the call. So I don't really see anything that will have a high significant impact. Let's look in the after hours today for earnings. You have Applied Materials, New Holdings, Quantum Computing, Nano Nuclear Energy, and SanDisk Corporation. There's a company called Gambling.com Group, believe it or not. So some of us are reckless traders. Maybe we need to take a look at this company when we're gambling in the markets. Try not to gamble the markets. Treat the markets like a business. If you want to go gambling, I suggest go to your local casino. Go there with $20 and have some fun on that slot machine. And get your gambling fix out there, not in the markets. Trade responsible and smart as a businessman in these markets, okay? Some news right now. Trump-fueled crypto frenzy sparks rush to Wall Street IPOs. So if you guys are, maybe sleeping under a rock, Bitcoin hit all-time high last night, almost 125,000 US a coin. Ethereum is going off the charts right now. Ethereum is really taking off. So we'll see if XRP Ripple can take a little rip, and stable coins. And now you got Wall Street IPOs coming into the mix. So things could get a little volatile when you got Wall Street involved, okay? Stocks may be at all-time highs, but speculative froth isn't. So yeah, stocks are trading at all-time highs, so tech is maintaining, holding the markets up with AI and everything to do with forward guidance in the future. Stock futures trade flat with PPI looming amid rate cut favor. So over here, PPI we just spoke about is at 8:30, and we also have a September FOMC coming up very soon in the next few weeks. So we'll see, is there going to be a rate cut? Is Powell going to cut those rates? Are they going to pause? Are they going to increase? We'll see come September. Tesla's in the news right now. Tesla shame bypasses Norway as sales jump despite Musk politics. So I guess Teslas are selling well in Norway. No one is worried about the politics regarding Musk over there. I guess they want just an electric vehicle. So they're doing good sales over there in Europe. Let's see here. U.S. 2-year yield on verge of lowest level since May. Ethereum surges to new record highs. So that's big. Bitcoin hit all-time high last night. It's retracing off of that all-time high. So just under 125,000. I believe it was 124,600 to be exact, right around there. Okay, so what else we got in the news? So John Deere had their results, what I just said in their earnings pre-market. Deere's third quarter profit falls. Okay, and then don't forget, tomorrow Trump is also meeting Putin in Alaska to discuss maybe a ceasefire in Ukraine. That could be impacting the way how markets move tomorrow as well. So we got to keep that in mind. And so that's the news right now. Guys, did anyone see American Eagle? Remember we were talking about it with Sydney Sweeney, and Trump was talking about American Eagle. So it is a company. It's called American Eagle, for very patriotic for Americans over here. And it was up almost 8% yesterday. So not bad. If you put that on your watch list, maybe you bought a few shares or some contracts in the option chain on that, maybe you made a little bit of money on that swing. I'm in a few shares on that as well, and in profit. Okay, so over here, guys, our Discord, we sent out some signals yesterday on commodities. Gold over here, this is the 10-minute time frame. We were looking for buys above nice psychological number, 3,360. We had a closing bar above there, and you can see there was another retest 10 minutes later. There was another retest 10 minutes later. So you could have got in, and you could have placed your stop loss below here, and you can see that we started to move to the upside, and we took out that previous high up there. So that was a beautiful move on gold over there. So congratulations to those that took that signal. You can see over here a 0.1 can add up properly. So there were all those buys around 33, 65, 62, 60, 57. So you kind of moved with the market. So kind of, guys, if you see how the markets are moving and you're confident, you can add a few positions onto it, and little 0.1s, they can add up, and you can hit daily goals, guys. You don't always have to trade with large lot sizing. You can reduce your lot sizing, give it a little bit more room to breathe, and not panic if it goes in drawdown or things like that, okay? So well done on those, and we'll see if we get any signals during our call over here, okay? And also indices. Yesterday, we had that big Dow buy out of here at 44,500 and had a big move yesterday. So we'll see what happens with PPI today. Guys, over here, this is the free Telegram available for everybody on YouTube. Thanks, everyone, for joining on YouTube. If you guys can hit the likes button, we appreciate it. Oh, my God, is that right? I see 7,500 viewers. That has to be a glitch, or maybe, who knows, maybe we hit that YouTube algorithm with you guys liking on the stream every day and subscribing, but I have never in my life seen that before. I don't even know what to say right now. I don't know if that's actual legit or if you guys are just playing games with me, but I hope it's for real. I hope there's actually 7,000 people watching on here. Oh my God, that is incredible, guys. So if you guys can hit the like button, we do appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel. I have no idea what's going on, but I do appreciate all of you guys taking time out of the day to view this. Here's the link for our YouTube channels. This is our free Telegram. It's pinned at the top of the channel for everyone. And it kind of gives you guys a summary of what we do here at SST. So there's that trade idea right there on gold, and there was the trades taken behind it. This is American Eagle. So it's trading at yesterday $13.50, almost up $1, which equates to almost 8%. So it has to do a lot with their media, with this female right here, Sydney Sweeney, and Trump talking about it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. If you just follow what's going on in the markets, you follow that volume, and you follow what's going on, you can maybe hit a few trades. I know it sounds silly, but sometimes that's how markets work. They work with volume and more eyes on the security, and can start to appreciate in value like that. Okay, guys, and we also have a free blog available to everyone. If you visit our website over here, stocksnipertrading.com, we do have a lot of education with myself and Dave. Lots of courses, quizzes, boot camps, long form boot camps, a lot of long form webinars, and we also have shorter webinars too as well. We're going to do more and more and more education come September, just in a few more weeks. We're just wrapping up the summer months here in Canada. We only get to enjoy warm weather for a couple months, and then that's it. It gets back to cold weather and snow. But lots of education, guys. If you want to learn, we got the education live sessions with myself and Dave throughout the week. Here's our scheduling, and also a blog available. So how much should I risk on a trade? That was our latest blog right over there, risk management. Weekly outlooks we do for members. There was that Silver Core Metals over here blog, and they're reporting their earnings, discussing bodies of candles, wicks, trading the news. Today we're trading the news. You can see we're going to be doing some PPI red folder news. This is a good read prior to always trading high impact news. Maybe just get you guys just how to navigate when we're trading high impact news. Okay, guys. So thank you guys so much. If you guys can hit the subscribe button, thank you guys so much. We're above 82,300. We're making an all-time high here at YouTube. So if you guys can continue with this uptrend, the trend is our friend. Let's continue making this higher highs and higher lows, and hit the subscribe button and continue to grow with us. Our big goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers and to help financially everyone for free. And the more people we get around the world, the more blessed we are here at SST. So guys, let's get into the charts over here. And we're going to get started with gold. So XAU USD. For some of you guys that are trading in the futures, you guys might be looking at GC and the futures contracts. Over here in Forex, we're looking at XAU USD. Okay. So I'm going to get started with a top-down analysis. We're going to get started off on the daily. We've been moving to the 4-hour lately. Some of you guys mentioned to me, Ron, thank you for doing that. The 4-hour kind of brings it more into focus, and then we go into the 1 hour. Normally I do daily 1 hour and straight into the 5 minutes, but I like what we're doing. So let's continue doing this. We'll go daily, 4-hour, hourly, and then we'll bring it down to the 5 minutes, okay? And we do have some news over here. So this is the live news from Financial Juice over here. So anything regarding news will be released over here during PPI, anything. If we see Trump speaking, if we see Secretary Bessent speaking, if we see Powell speaking, if we see anything regarding the news, it will be over here, okay? So we'll keep an eye on everything. And again, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, everyone on Zoom for joining. Welcome, Conrad, Christoph, good morning. Dale, good morning. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate you. Mike, welcome. Good morning. And everyone on YouTube, thank you guys for joining as well. From the top, RJ, thank you for being number one. Romeo, thank you for joining. Dan, welcome. Felimindelit, Skaperse. Thank you. Danny, thank you for joining. MB, thank you. Alphonse, thank you guys. Rahish, thank you guys. Everyone, Diego, thank you guys. Appreciate all of you guys. Let's get started now. So we're going to get started on the daily. Okay, so again, we're going to take a look at what we always do here. Again, look at where we're still trading. We're still trading in about 50%, some consolidation at the all-time high supply, and we got some good demand. So gold is just consolidating. Again, it's coiling up on a higher time frame. We could be moving today during PPI and possibly going into FOMC next month, okay? So let's kind of mark off a few things that we can already see and already know about. Gold hit all-time high, okay? So if we got some new traders on the call, there's gold's all-time high right here. 3,500 on the dot, that nice psychological number. There's the wick of the all-time high, and it was on April 22nd, okay? So since then, what was the most recent pullback or the lowest point so we can find our entire range? It's this wick right over here on Thursday, May 15. So you can see from the all-time high when we hit it, kind of moved to a lower low, came back up, double top, kind of broke that low and dropped right there. On May 15th, we hit 3,120. And you can see from there, started to come right back up, and we're kind of trading in this range. But we also have this zone that we've been focusing on right over here. And we discovered this zone when it hit all-time high and when that body closed. So right there, we kind of trapped that volume right there in those two bars, that blue bar and that black bar coming down. And what we do here at SST is we stretch it into the future because this is a static zone. Once you identify a zone, it's static. The only thing that moves up and down is the volume. That's the only thing that's variable. So next time it comes in here, it's got a high probability it will continue to respect the zone where it was created from. So when I stretch it into the future, I can see the buyers come right back up, and then you can see how it's literally a double top. It comes up and goes back down second time. That's what a double top is, and it looks like an M pattern. When you look at what is a capital M, it comes up, one top, there's the bottom, that we call it the neckline or support, and then it comes back up, and there's literally the second top and the capital M pushing back down to that supporting line or the neckline, okay? So that's a common pattern, very basic pattern in trading. If you're a beginner, that's relatively easy to identify, but it's going to take a little bit more experience to understand when the volume comes in there. Is it going to be actual M pattern and push down, or is it going to be kind of like a fake out and they close it above here and continue to go for highs, okay? So you got to use caution when you do recognize it, because it doesn't always happen, okay? But if we continue with that same zone stretching in the future, we can see now early June, gold came in there. And again, what were the results? It got rejected back out. And then we stretch it again. We can see mid-June, again, it closed above there, and then they rejected it back down, okay? So the buyers are trying up there. They're trying hard to get it back up to that all-time high, but there's a lot of offers in the market. There's a lot of sellers selling up there. And then we came again just recently. So this was mid-July we came in there, and what were the results? It got rejected back down. Then we had a weekly downtrend. And looking right now, very recently. So we were trading in here last Thursday, Friday, and then you can see over the weekend, gold sold off, and this is how we're trading this week. So we're trading right back up to that red zone. Are they going to push it back down, or are we going to start to transact back into this block up here, okay? So another key thing is now, once we've identified this, continue stretching it into the future, okay? Because it is still that static block representing offers, unless the buyers can physically close above it, and then we flip it green, and then we're starting to get wicks out of it, or we're getting bullish engulfing candles building in it. Then we could maybe flip this entire depth of market and turn it bullish, and then we could be traveling up to that all-time high and breaking it, okay? And then notice the days when they reverse these things, okay? So just going through the days. When it comes up here, a Tuesday, and then the next day, Wednesday, that's what we call a midweek reversal. So it comes up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they push it down. Again, look again when we come up. Another days when it comes up here is it comes up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then over the weekend, Monday, they bring it back down. Okay, so these are normal patterns that do happen. Do they happen all the time? No, but it's good to recognize. Look again here, Monday, Tuesday, and then midweek reversal, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, back down. Again, when did we trade in here last week? Thursday, Friday, we were in there. Over the weekend, they brought it back down Monday. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday, we're trading back in here. Are they going to bring it back down, or are we actually going to continue to push back into here? Okay. So when we identify an area of sellers or offers or resistance or supply, whatever you want to call it, we got to maybe complement it with finding where the buyers, where support is, where demand is. Okay, so the way how we find it was over here, this bullish flag pattern on these 3 days. Okay, so I discuss this every single morning on these calls, why we found this and why it's still holding up. So it was off of this big downtrend, and it made a higher low, and then we got big days coming up, like a midweek reversal. So it's coming down Monday, Tuesday, and then look at when they reversed it back up. Wednesday, Thursday, and then we closed off the week strong on Friday. The midday right here in the middle, the second soldier, the second big bar right over here, closed above structure. So that's a good point of control. If you figure out 50% of that and you stretch it into the future, you could see that that pullback came exactly right into that bar, and the response was pending orders got triggered and the buyers were waiting there. And then when we came up, you see it kind of just consolidates. When you trap that volume, that's as much as you need to figure out a zone. That's a bullish flag pattern. Very common pattern. So you should be able to recognize that. Then you can see from the all-time high when we came down, look at where it stopped. Right in that green zone off of that bullish flag. Then we had that next push up. There's that double top that came back down. And when you stretch that zone into the future, the sellers actually broke it below there and actually closed it below. So that was a red zone at that time. Next day, you can see it opened, ignited, and pushed down. That was a very bearish day, but it came right into the heart of that point of control of that big bullish candle. And that's a significant one because that's the one that closed above all of this structure. So those buyers were there protecting that move. When it came in there, look at the response. It triggered, hit all those pending orders, and look at where it closed, back above kind of that zone. And then you see how it came barcoding. This is what I call barcoding, where it's kind of just going bearish, coming back up bullish, going back down bearish, going back up bullish. But notice the bullish candles are making a higher low, a bullish ignited open, a higher low, and a higher low. So it is definitely building the depth of market. And finally, we kind of closed back above there. So that was kind of a little fake out. That's what we call a fake out, where it dips down there, but it didn't really break the structure down. It came right back up. So it gathered that liquidity and came back up, and you can see it traded right back up to that red box and then back down. So if we stretch this green zone into the future, you can see we have not transacted back into this green zone. So it's still green. It's in the future. We're trading all the way up here today. There was points where it almost came down there. And then this is where we learn what are tweezer bottom lows and tweezer top highs. These are tweezer bottom lows, which are equal bottom lows. So on this day, May 29, end of the month, it came down and stopped right there. You see, it did not transact in the green box. Buyers were there and they pushed it right back up. Again, we come back down a month later, end of June, June 30th. Where did it come down to? Exactly to that low right there. It did not break and come into the green box. So that's telling me that they're protecting the depth of the market. They're not allowing it to break down. Equal lows are just as they're basically like higher lows, but they're equal. They're not breaking it down, because if it broke down, technically it would be a new lower low in the market, and that would disrupt the volume. That will disrupt the depth of market. That will change the offers above us. That will change the bids below us. It will change up everything. Okay, so when we hit that low right there, see how it went back up and we continue to build. Okay, so there is also other points of interest that we can start to identify now. So next time it pulled down, you see where it closed and where the next body opened. I can see again over there when it came down right there, end of June, and then we started July 31st and a new month. Right over here is another point of interest on the daily. You can see how the bodies of candles now are still building here. So 32.45 is a critical point of interest above the green block. We've got a higher low building with volume now at 32.73, 32.75. And when we're coming up with this strong move right here, guys, if you remember, Friday, August 1st was NFP. And that was where they released the job creation numbers in the United States, and they were actually really low. They were negative numbers after they revised them. So the US dollar sold off, and therefore gold, you can see, was a very bullish move. Can we identify where 50% of Friday's NFP is? What we do here is you can eyeball it, but it's not best to do that. So let's figure out exactly where 50% and that bullish point of control is from Friday, August 1st NFP. So where's exactly 50%? It's right there, 3,325. And what I can also see is the point of control. Okay, so on your Fibonacci, go one ratio above and one ratio below, and that'll give you that fair value zone, okay, or point of control, or the bullish golden zone, whatever you want to call it. Okay, some traders call this the golden zone, some traders call this the golden pocket, some traders call this the hot pocket. Whatever you want to call it whatever you want. Just understand what the implications are of this zone. Okay, so when we had that big NFP news, you see that the buyers were asking and continue to make higher highs and higher lows. The most recent pullback was the next day right there. So it did not transact back into that point of control until we hit it Tuesday of this week. It came in there, and look at the results. It went right back up. So it can still come in here and trade right to 50% this yellow line. It could also come to the bottom of the green box, like we see over here, where on this day, you see it came right through the green box, but then went right back up, and look at where it closed, above the green box. This next day, it came right in there again, right into 50% of the green box, made a higher low, and continued to push and close above the green box. And then the next day, Monday, over the new week, you had that next big bullish move, okay? So right now, you can see how much thin volume we have in the daily candles. We got a lot of consolidation this week, following this big bearish candle starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We are technically making higher lows and higher highs, but very thin volume, waiting for 8:30, possibly today's PPI news, okay? So we do have this block still above us. So we're building a little bit of a depth of market. Again, stretch this block into the future. This one is still holding. Obviously, this block is stronger. So if it comes back down to retest this, maybe it might not hold. Maybe it might cut right through here and close below there. Then we invert this back to a red zone to represent offers in the market. Then maybe it will come back down. First attempt will be this point of interest yellow line. If it can't hold, the next attempt is there. Then finally, the next block in there. That would be a great opportunity to put a pending order or a pending signal in that zone, because if it comes in there, that could trigger the big move, okay? Obviously, this zone is stronger than this zone. This one was just created on August 1st on NFP. This zone has been in the market, you can see, all the way since April of 2025. So it's multiple months. So this is stronger, okay? When you get deeper down into the depth of market, the stronger it gets, right? This one is just being built right now, okay? And then one other critical candle is this big bearish one starting this week, Monday. You can see we were slowly making staircases coming up last week, and Monday over the weekend, they slammed it back down. Can we identify where the point of control, the bearish point of control of Monday's candle is? Very similar what we do. Grab your Fibonacci tool, go from the opening price of Monday and go down to the closing price. So there I can see exactly is where my 50% marker is. So there's the 50% zone, 3,370. And I can see that yesterday we traded right at it and we pushed back down. And today we broke above it. And then again, they pushed it back down. Can we find the point of control? Now this is going to confuse some of you guys, because we have the big red zone above us. And then now look at what Ron is doing. Ron is putting now that point of control, one standard deviation above, one standard deviation below, or one ratio above, one ratio below on the Fibonacci. And then I'm making it red to grab that golden pocket, golden zone, hot pocket, whatever you want to call it. But what I do is I stretch it into the future. Then I can see yesterday we traded right into it, and then they pushed it right back down. Today we traded right into it, almost at the highest point of it, and then they pushed it right back down. So we can stretch that into the future. And then with the big zone above us, okay, what you can do now is, if it's confusing, what I normally do is, since this one is more active, with this one we can kind of just move it backwards. If we start to move into here, you can bring that red zone forward. Okay, do you see what I'm doing? So I'm going to focus more on this zone right here, this red one. I can see we traded in it yesterday and they pushed it back down. Today we came in it, we made a new higher high at the highest point of the day, and again they pushed it down. So now it's going to be basically a battle between this red zone and this green zone. Okay, and then everything inside the middle, this is where the market is consolidating. This is another word for where buyers are buying and sellers are selling. We don't really have any move in the market, but it's accumulating. So buyers are accumulating. Every time it comes down, buyers are buying it back up. Every time it comes down, buyers are buying it back up. Every time it comes down, buyers are buying it back up. So that's buying volume accumulating. But also on the flip side, every time it comes up, you see the top wick, sellers are selling it down. Every time it comes up in there, sellers are selling it down. Every time it makes that new higher high, sellers are pushing it back down. Okay, so sellers are also accumulating. And we are very smart traders at SST. We know that gold's volume is not just going to continue to consolidate in here. It might for multiple days. It could. I've seen gold consolidate for multiple weeks and months in a zone. But with high impact news, it's accumulating for this news, and then will possibly either break out to the upside or break down to the downside. Okay, so couple options of what could happen. If option one is it can continue to trade in here, maybe come down here, maybe go up here, and continue to accumulate, right? Option two, if the buyers accumulate more delta volume than sellers, we could potentially break out of here, causing a new higher high, but it could break out like an impulse breakout and then get rejected back down into the zone. Then that would be a fake out. Okay, it's kind of like an impulse candle that breaks out, finds some new sellers, and then gets rejected back into the zone. And that's a fake out. Okay, so that could happen. What we look for is closing volume. Okay, so we look for like a daily candle to break out of here and break out, and then maybe it closes with bullish volume above there. Then we'll flip that red zone green, and maybe if it pulls back in here, this could now start like buyers in here, like a demand zone, and then we flip that zone, and then we could be coming back up. Okay, and then the buyers would win that accumulation battle. The other option is sellers could continue to maybe break through this green zone. Again, let me just give you an option. It could be a fake out where it comes down there, catches a wick, and then goes back into the zone, and then we follow this move. That could be a fake out down there, okay? When you're trading in between these zones, there's a lot of fake outs that happen. When you come back down to the higher time frame zones, there's less fake outs that happen down here because the depth of market is much stronger, okay? So in order to do fake outs, why do they do that? To trigger liquidity. To build liquidity, that's why they do fake outs. But for us, all you got to do is wait for a body candle to close so you don't get faked out, okay? But some of us, we can't wait for a body to close, so we trade on impulse. But that's the problem if you take impulse trades. You don't know where it could go until it finally closes. So the third option, the most viable option, is if the sellers break through here and it's a bearish candle and it in fact closes below there, so then we know confirmed volume closed below, it's not a fake out, then it closed below there, then we flip that green zone red, and when buyers are buying back into it because they're buying the higher low, they're buying back in. But when it comes in this zone, it could be resistance or sellers. We flip it red, and then we could be coming down to this yellow line, testing that. Could be a higher low there. The buyers could be holding there, just like they did on that body and that body. However, if we do break it, we're going to come down to where? Those tweezer bottom lows, those equal lows that are holding gold up. And if that can't hold, then we come in the big block. And that's where the big buyers are waiting. And that could reverse the whole move back up, okay? So those are the bigger zones. These ones that we got going on right now are just, just structure built in the market, but they're not as strong as the ones above us, okay? So let's now follow yesterday's volume and how we're moving into today. Okay, so yesterday, remember, we opened. It was initially bearish. We made this higher low. We came back to the opening price. The buyers flipped the candle. They came up strong. They pushed a new high, weekly high above Tuesday. And we came up to here, inside, right in that pocket, and right to that 50% line. And the sellers were there. They show us, there's the evidence, they rejected it back down, and we closed right here. So it closed as a bullish pin bar. It's a pin bar. We got wicks below and above, and there's a little bit of blue body of buyers, okay? Today now, let's look at where we closed and where we opened. So at the transition here, I see that there's no gap in the markets. We closed right here, 3,355, I would just guess right there. And we closed, and that's where we opened. So with today's range, look at where we are. We're right back to the opening price, as if nothing really happened today. But something did happen. We were initially bearish today, where it came down bearish, 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 bearish. We made a low of the day so far. So I place a purple line at our lowest point to represent the low of the day. Will we come back down to 3,341 today? Possibly. Could come back down there and break. And then maybe we'll come and revisit Tuesday's low. So again, I like to just, place a yellow line at Tuesday's low just to see if it will come down there. Maybe it will be an equal low. Maybe it will be a higher low. Maybe we'll break that. Then we definitely come back down to 50% of this green zone right in there. But I can see today we came down. It is in fact a higher low from that wick. So the buyers stepped back in and pushed it all the way. They flipped the candle. Today was very bullish as well. And look at the highest point where we came up to was all the way up there. But you see, we're still in that red pocket. We're still in that hot pocket, whatever you want to call it, golden zone, point of control. We came in there, the highest point of the day, and the sellers were there in that big, big block right there. They absorbed all those buyers and they rejected it back down to where we came back down to the opening price, and now it's bearish. This is a bear spin top. This is an indecision candle. It's basically 50-50. It's like a coin flip. When you flip a coin, you can flip it. You're going to get heads maybe 50% of the time. You'll get tails 50% of the time. So if I was trading this candle, it's basically like flipping a coin. I don't want to flip a coin when I trade. I want to look for more high probability. I want to be at least more 70, 80% accurate when I take a trade. With good risk management, if you're a 70, 80% trader, you'll continue to compound your account unless you do something reckless and silly and you over leverage all of your gains. Okay. Hopefully we're beyond that point and we don't do that anymore. Okay. So today, if you ask me, is today bullish or bearish? My honest answer is, after all of that analysis, is I would tell you guys, I don't know today because it's showing there was buyers. It was bullish, but then the sellers pushed it all the way back down. It was bearish, but then buyers brought it right back up. We're right back at the opening position, so it's hard to say right now. But if we look at the overall kind of pattern, what's going on, we've got higher lows, higher low, a higher low. We're still holding 50% of NFP's point of control, bullish block, but we can't break through here as of yet. So we are making like higher high this week, but we got to kind of get above here to continue. Okay, so right now it's kind of consolidating on the daily. Now if I was to what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down and we're going to go into the 4 hours. So now we're going to start to dissect today's daily candle in 4-hour bars. Okay, so we just go down the scale from daily, we go to 4H. Now you can see how the 4-hour candles are consolidating in our zones here. There's that big red zone above us. Here's that green zone below us. Okay, and here's that consolidated neutral zone. So now I can see exactly what 4-hour blocks we were trading here yesterday, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's basically Europe's open. 2 to 6 a.m. Then here's 6 to 10. This is kind of representing COMEX and briefly Wall Street. And then you can see Wall Street now 10 to 2 p.m. mid-afternoon was bearish. Then near the close of the day was just this little indecision doji bar. Then we opened up again. The futures market Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. was very bullish. I can see that that's when we made the highest point of the day, was when the futures market opened up for those 4 hours. Then it got rejected. Then we move into here. So this is kind of 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. It was bearish coming back down. And then this volatile candle again is Europe. This is London, 2 to 6 a.m. So I can see we kind of opened. It was bullish, came back down. That's where we made the low of the day. Buyers brought it right back up. So this is now the new 4-hour candle that's going to close in 2 hours and 15 minutes. So this is our 6 to 10 a.m. candle. And you can see we're just kind of basically, again, continuing to accumulate here. The PPI news will really start to move this. So right now you can see sellers are selling and buyers are buying. We're still accumulating in here, okay? So again, now if we look at the 4-hour candles, maybe do we see something that could, do we see a pattern on the 4 hours, okay? So let's just kind of, extend these zones back if you want. So this was a nice big bullish move, but we came up there. Look, we're still below this high. So technically it's a lower high. And then they pushed it back down, came into this block, and now it's coming back up. So if the sellers continue, we got a lower high, got a lower high, lower high, and a lower high, they could definitely continue to push this back down into here and test this block. When it comes in here, those buyers could bring it right back up. However, if this is a lot of selling pressure accumulating off of this block and this all-time high supply block, they could redistribute this, and we could maybe lose this green zone from NFP, and gold could sell off. If we get strong news coming out for the producers, that maybe could strengthen the US dollar, and then we could maybe see gold sell off. However, if we see producers index going up and it's bad for the US dollar, or it weakens the US dollar, we could see a significant move back to the upside on gold. Okay, so both buyers and sellers are at an accumulation point. They're waiting for that news to redistribute the volume. Okay, so again, if you ask me on the 4 hours, I see a lot of consolidation. Now let's move into the 1 hour. Okay, so the 1 hour maybe will give us a little bit more clear direction. Now in the 1 hours, I can see it came up, one top. There's our neckline. And then it came back up. See how they broke the high and then came back down. So when I'm looking like at a double top, what we were talking about, that's one top. There's our neckline right around that yellow daily point of interest. We came up. There's kind of where they broke, grabbed the liquidity at the highest point of the day. Now I can see exactly what hour it was. It was 8 p.m. Eastern. That's exactly when the futures market opens up. Then when the futures opened up, they grabbed that high, came back down. Then I can see 9, 10, 11, midnight. They brought it right back down. So that's like a double top. And then we broke right there. There's London. 3 a.m. They broke it. They closed it below. So we're basically coming right back up to test London's point of control of that hourly candle. And so far, it's consolidating right in there. It might continue to push down. However, the zone might turn back up and do something like this. So now what I do is, okay, so remember we found the point of control on daily bars. Then we went into 4 hour. What about now London? London is a significant hourly time in the market, 3 a.m. So I can see London opened up. It was initially bullish, got rejected, lower high from the highest point of the day. So we are trending down. They actually came down, but they also broke this neckline. You can see they broke it and they closed it near the low. And then we continued at 4 a.m., continuing bearish, where we printed the lowest point of the day. Then it kind of consolidated at 4 a.m. And at 5 a.m., look at how we are coming all the way right back up and we're trading right at this daily point of interest. Now, let's do something with hourly bearish volume on London, okay? So let's grab our Fibonacci tool. From the opening of London to the closing of the hourly London candle, can we identify where 50% of London is? Right there, 0.5. So I'm going to place for hourly, guys, I use a white line. Okay, it's to help me distinguish the difference between a white line is hourly, a yellow line is a daily point of interest, the purple line is the highest point of the day up there, and this purple line is the lowest point of the day. Okay, so anytime I see volume trading at an white line, I know it's trading at an hourly support or resistance. If I see it trading at a yellow line, I know it's trading at a daily point of interest. Okay, if the volume is right in between hourly and daily, then I know it's consolidating. Okay, on both of those time frames. Now again, let's get the bearish point of control of that London bearish volume. Why bearish? Because it closed bearish below there. Okay, so now if we're coming for retracements, we're going to see this is already printed. So now we're kind of back testing. So if I was to stretch it into the future, I can see right there at 5 a.m. we closed above. So when a bar closes above, I simply change the color of the zone. So then it represents support. Then I can see at 6 a.m. we came in here, see the support right at the bottom, and it came back up. There's tweezer top highs on the hourly. You see those two wicks up there? Let me get rid of the Fibonacci, but this is where we can kind of learn a little bit. So you see those highs right there? They're basically equal, right? You can see it came right up there, and then they pushed it right back down. The next hourly came exactly right there, and they pushed it right back down. I don't see a new higher high, okay? So they're protecting the highs. The sellers are offering exactly there and keeping it down. Then it got rejected, and we closed with a little bit of volume in the green box. So right now, if I stretch this green box into this hour is going to close in 10 more minutes. We're going to be at 8 a.m. It opened, it came back down in the green box, it came back up with a lower high, and look at the volume continue to trade in this. So we'll see, will the hourly volume continue to close above the green box, or the hourly volume going to continue to close below? If it closes below, we'll flip this zone red. If it closes above, we're going to keep it green. What I'm doing is I'm stretching it into the future, okay? So this could dictate where we move in the next few hours. So again, if the buyers close it maybe above here, maybe we'll retest this. We'll have enough to break those equal highs, and maybe we'll trade into the red zone. One wick I would also watch is London's high. I would place a white line at London's high. You can even, if you want to get fancy on your charts, you can even write on this. You could go to settings. You could go to the text. You could write that this is London's high, okay? And you could have it right over here. See where I put London high? So you can really make your charts fancy if you like, so you understand if it comes up there, what that white line will represent. If it comes up to the purple line, what does that represent? If it comes up to this yellow line, what does it represent, right? We could even write down that that's London's low, and then I can see that they broke it. But right now, you see, we have like this consolidation on the hourly. So again, if you were to ask me, Ron, what direction do we think gold is going to go? Then I would, tend to go with what I see. Coming from a higher time frame, we have this big bearish leg coming down. We have all of this consolidation, but then all of that consolidation pushed it back up to here, to the highest point of the day. That's a lower high, and they pushed it all the way right back down, right to there. We're not making any new lower lows, so that technically is a higher low, and then now we're kind of consolidating right in here. So are the bulls going to continue to buy gold back into here? Maybe we'll trade in that red zone. Might be a double top up there. Then there's that big M pattern coming back down to maybe come into here. So, it's hard to say right now. It was hard to say on the daily. It was hard to say on the 4 hour. And it's definitely difficult to say on the hourly. Okay. Again, we have a lot of indecision. So if we go to the 5 minutes now, what do we see on the 5 minute time frame? I can see, remember, we came in. Now I can see exactly when we hit the highest point of the day was 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 30 minutes after the futures market opened up. Then they pushed it down. We kind of consolidated. We can add one more push up. There's 250, 255, 3 a.m. There's London, the first 5 minute open. And we kind of hit that hourly high right when London market opened. And then majority of London was selling pressure. They sold everything back down. And then there's see the lowest point of the day, 2 tweezer bottom lows on the 5 minutes. Like when you want to scalp the markets, when it came down there and went back up, it came down there and closed as a hammer. You could have bought this next candle right there and scalped for 2 bars, right? You could have got your quick pips. That's scalping. Okay, for like 1 bar is basically 20 pips. The continuation, 40, 45 pips right there. Just buying that blue candle and getting that. Then when it came back down, you got a double bottom. It came down and respected the 5-minute point of interest right there, those bodies. You got a body, a body, a body, a wick, and there's the second bottom. There's the body that kind of closed right near the structure, and there was your advancement, again, of 3 bodies. You could have bought the second bottom, and the second bottom is stronger than the first bottom, like right there. That candle alone is 40 pips. You get 2 bars, 60 pips. You get 3 bars, you're at 80 pips. You could have hit your daily goal right there, basically identifying this double bottom on the 5 minutes during London, okay? It's all pattern recognition. That's what trading is. But just on the lower time frames, remember, you're not going to get a crazy big move unless there's news in the market. I'm happy trade as a scalper. If I get 1 candle or 2 candles and I make 20, 30, 40, 50 pips, I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I get my money, I take it out, and then I look for one more. Maybe if I can hit another trade for 30, 40, 50 pips, I could hit 100 pips for the day, hit my daily goal, and I'm good to go. Okay. Now we see the 5 minutes are struggling at that white line. That's hourly resistance. You can see how we're consolidating. Right there, it was building a second bottom. See how it came down? There's the neckline, came back down. Second bottom right there. Traditionally, the more powerful leg, but we impulsively broke out and sellers pushed it right back down. So now it's still building a higher low, a higher low. We might get that next push out of there bullish in just a few moments. I look at the time, it's 7:55. So we're going to go into 8 a.m. in 5 more minutes. Let's see if we get some closing volume above here, and maybe we could continue to move bullish to this hourly resistance, 3359, 3360. Remember, we were having a difficult time breaking that yesterday, but it eventually broke through there. So that's what we got going on the 5 minutes. We're going to continue to stay with gold. Some traders look at this, okay, overall pattern, came down, big drop. All of this consolidation could be considered one bottom, the lowest point of the day, right there, one bottom. We have our big neckline right there at that hourly. And now when we're coming down, you see how it's holding this green block, a higher low. What happens if it comes all the way back down in here today? That might be a good buying area down in here at the red line or the lowest point of the day, because that could be a bigger double bottom. And then we're coming through here and could break through this and then come all the way up there. But right now, it's holding this green block. So we still have not broken down. The buyers are still holding strong. Okay, so let's watch going into the close. Let's add our SST daily bar indicator beside us. So here's our daily bar. It looks like it needs to eat breakfast. It looks like it's starving. It looks like it hasn't eaten any pancakes for a while. It opened. You can see we're right at literally the opening price. And this candle has been going for quite some time. Like if it started at 6 p.m., it's almost 14 hours in the making here. So it opened, that's where we hit the low of the day. There's those 2 low wicks right there. I can tell exactly 4 a.m. and 4:15. And then we came all the way back up. So I can see the highest point of the day is right there, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, right from the futures when the futures market opened up. And it's gotten pushed all the way right back down where we're consolidating right at the opening price again. So again, your guess is as good as mine. Sellers could come in, close below there, and we could continue to push down in here, or buyers could build up and we're trading back into here. Okay. So we have that big high impact news coming up in about 30 minutes. I guarantee you gold is not going to continue to trade in here. It will possibly make the move coming all the way up here, or it will continue to sell off depending on how the PPI news comes in. Okay. If we add now EMAs, some of you guys add indicators on your chart. There's the green 9 EMA. So you can see we're trading right at it. The 200 EMA is the other EMA we use. You can see it's acting as resistance up here. We're traded up to it, pushed it back down, traded to that purple line, back down, traded at that purple line, but we have that white hourly resistance above us as well. So they are pushing it down. Okay. When the 200 and the 9 are trading very close to each other, we have a consolidated phase, which we can see here. Okay. So let's just watch going in for the next 2.5 minutes going into 8 a.m. and see what happens here. Okay. Thanks everyone on YouTube. We have 8,000 viewers. I don't know if it's a glitch, probably a glitch or bots. But anyways, for those human beings that are on the call, we do appreciate you guys. If you guys can hit the like button, that would help us with the algorithm. But This is excellent. I've never seen this before, but who knows? Like, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know how YouTube works myself. But I know that if you like the stream, it does help. I know if you subscribe to the channel, it also does help us a lot. So here's our live all-time high forecast right over 360. Amazing, guys. 82,361. Look at, we're crushing all-time highs over here. Look at this uptrend. Beautiful. Making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. We're building support. We're continuing to break through resistance. See how support is holding. We can learn trading right here. This is like an indicator. This could be an SST indicator here for YouTube. We're continuing to make higher highs. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. It really does help us. It motivates us to be here. And it's truly, truly very appreciative, guys. Very humbling. Thank you. Okay, guys. So, and yesterday, guys, I took a couple losses during the live sessions, but I didn't give up. I know it sounds crazy. I know a lot of you guys probably aren't going to believe me because a lot of traders say after the fact, say, yeah, I made my money back. I actually did. If you saw how US 30 was trading after the call, like this is US 30 real quickly. Just want to show you remember we were trading leading into Wall Street and I took that sell right there on those candles right there. And then I got stopped out on that move. I saw that bearish bar coming right back down right there. That was the bar that closed below the structure. I marked that one up. 50% of that bar right there at 1020, and I sold that candle right there for those 2 bars. I made a little bit of my return back on that. I didn't fully recover, but then when it came back up here, that closing bar, I saw it kind of come right there. Then that bullish igniting bar, I bought that one. And just on those 2 trades coming right back up to that white line, I kind of escaped the day with a little tiny bit of profit, but I recovered my loss. And then look at if I didn't continue to trade the rest of the day. But if I did, that white line, you can see later on 2 p.m. it closed back above there, and then you could have got again another nice move. So you could see how, remember what I was saying too, this big bullish move. Like for example, guys, if you get that entire range, that was 930 to the highest point 10 for 30 minutes. If you grab your Fibonacci tool from that lowest point to how high it went, and remember what I always say, that golden zone, golden pocket, that could be your trading area, right? If you're waiting for pullbacks, there's 50% right there. If you went to your 1 standard deviation above and 1 below, look at it. It held a green zone all day yesterday. That big sell-off, look at where it landed, right in there and came back up. It retraced right back in there, pushed for that, it peaked its head for that new higher high, came all the way back down there again, higher low off of there. See how that green zone was continuing to build all day? Then near the end of the day, that candle right there closed above, and then they redistributed all of that volume into the close. So that was yesterday, guys. So it's just, if you guys, what I'm trying to say is, if you guys take a couple early losses without over leveraging, you can still come back. Go for a walk away from the markets, go for breakfast, and come back with a clear mind. Yes, some days you're going to lose, but it's also very, very smart and mature to walk away so you don't revenge trade, so you don't do anything silly, and then you can come back. And why didn't you do it on the stream? Because we ended the stream. We were from 7 to 10. I'm showing you trading after when I walked away from the computer. I came back. See, that's why it's hard to, that's why I don't like saying what I do after the stream, because everyone's like, well, why didn't you do it on the stream? That's what I'm trying to say. It was done after the stream. If I see setups, that's why I place alerts at specific zones. I told you guys yesterday during the call, I'm placing an alert here, and it doesn't mean that when it comes down there, I'm automatically going to just hit the buy and sell button blind, but I look at the chart. So I saw how that green zone was still accumulating, still holding. So that's the point of adding alerts or signals on your chart and allowing the volume to naturally come back down to you. Okay? But it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain because some people do not believe that you can recover later on in the day. Next time, if I have time in the afternoon, we'll come back on stream and we'll see how we can recover losses taken early. Same with if you're trading live London. if you trade live London and you take one loss or two losses, that doesn't mean like that's it, start revenge trading. What I do is if I trade London, sometimes I go back to sleep and then I wake up back for New York and I see how the volume is moving from London to New York. Sometimes if I make a mistake or I take a loss in New York, I could always come back for post New York later on in the day or the mid-afternoon, okay? But we'll do US 30 and NASDAQ in, I would say, about 45 more minutes, okay? We'll have enough time to do that leading into Wall Street. Right now, we're watching gold, and we do have big high-impact news coming up in less than 30 minutes over here. So we got core PPI. This is the producers index. Core, meaning everything that excludes food and energy. So basically, Walmart putting items on their shelves. Is it costing Walmart more money to buy products and put them on the shelves? And then we're going to get into PPI month over month, which includes right here, it will include food and energy. Okay, so that's more like your grocery store, for example, putting food on the shelves for us as consumers to buy. Is it costing them more money from last month to this month? And then we have our weekly unemployment claims. Okay, and regarding tariffs, tariffs are now in place. So we're going to start to see the results of tariffs coming up in the next month and the month after that. So we're going to start to see how tariffs are affecting these producers. When you listen to Walmart on their last conference call, on their last earnings call, the CEO of Walmart were saying tariffs will impact our prices on our shelves. Walmart is going to try the best to absorb those prices so it doesn't pass it down to the consumers, but that's hard to say because Walmart is not in the business to lose money. They're in the business to make money. So they can only pass down so much or absorb so much before they start passing it down to the consumers. So that would be respectable if Walmart can do that, absorb those costs and keep the prices the same when you and I go buy things at Walmart, but it's highly unlikely that that's going to keep up over time. Maybe for 1 month, 2 months, Walmart can absorb those costs, but what happens if the tariffs continue for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the road, okay? Businesses are not just going to absorb those costs. Think of you, if you're a small business. If you owned a small business, like a coffee shop right now, if you were importing coffee beans right now, maybe you sell a coffee for $3 coffee. It's good coffee beans. But if those coffee beans that you're bringing in, I know you don't want to pass it down to your consumer, but are you going to continue to absorb those costs, pay all your bills, not make any money, maybe take losses just to stay afloat? So that's, again, those are just talking points to consider. Okay, so right now, like even the daily candle is like just a little spin top with a little bit of bullish volume. So on that 8 a.m. open, we kind of impulsively broke right up to there, okay, to that 200 EMA. We got up to kind of broke that high. Then it got rejected and it closed again right near that green zone. So now we have another push with a higher low pushing back up. Will it fill those wicks and continue to trade up here? We still haven't had a volume candle close above this green zone as of yet. You see that previous one, it impulsively broke out of there and closed right in the green zone, right at it. So we're continuing to build. It is driving right now. I'm just going to wait for this candle to close in the next 3 minutes, right over here. Charles, can I make losses off the stream and make your winners on the stream? That's the plan today. That's a good one. Yeah, so I'll take all my losses off the stream and hopefully on stream we can make some profitable trades together. So that's the plan, guys. That's always the plan. Okay, so we got a nice move coming out of here. Good bullish move. right? So when I'm not in a trade, I'm still analyzing. I'm seeing, will this volume break this hourly resistance? Will it come up there and be a lower high? Will they push it down? When this body candle closes, I look where it closes relative to this high to this structure. Will this be the first body of volume that can close above this structure? Then I look where 50% point of control of this candle is, maybe to buy a pullback. Is anyone in a trade right now on gold? There could be traders that are selling gold right now. There could be traders that are buying gold right now. Some of you guys maybe are not in a trade like myself right now. Captain, you caught this buy. Nice. Omar, you're waiting on the news? Okay, so we got to wait another 20 minutes, Omar, till we get that news. Oh, boom, you went in on the 1 minutes. Nice. So how are the 1 minutes trading? Yep. 1 minutes. Okay, so 1 minutes came down here, built back up, double bottom, came. Oh, that little fake out 1 minute candle right there, that bullish impulse at 736. They pushed it back down, came back down, higher low, higher low. So building. Again, there was the nice 803 that was during the first 5 minutes. We got that body close, impulsively put, and then came back down and see the retest of those 1 minutes. So if you're in those 1 minutes, beautiful move. So now we're retracing back down to maybe if you're on the 1 minute still, boom, I would look at 50% of that nice big bullish candle, maybe holding where my cursor is right there, maybe catch a higher low, and maybe try to continue to drive up to that hourly resistance. But if we can't hold that point of control, they could bring it all the way back down where that 1 minute candle open, point of interest on the 1 minute, and then you got your 9 EMA also maybe to support you there. For us that are watching on the fives, this is what we still see. So we close right there. So if I use like right there at our last resistance, you can see that we broke through it, came. Now we're maybe making this red support. Okay, so it just opened bullish and just drove right up. Okay, so if I'm waiting for a pullback, see, now I'm waiting for a pullback. So they came up, they rejected it back down with a lower high and pushing it down. Now we could be trading into possibly 50% of that bullish candle right there. Okay, and then now we got a spin top. Will it flip back up bullish? And can we continue to move to the upside? I might be looking to maybe buy this spin top if it continues to build off the bottom. And then to take it back up to test that hourly resistance. Okay, but it's that spin top candle. So again, this candle is like currently a 50-50. Still lots of time left on it, 4 minutes. So this is just reflecting the first 1 minute of it. Okay, so it's still building. See, it hasn't broke yet this low. Still building where it kind of opened. Okay, so I'm waiting. Maybe is it going to come back down to its low and be a shooting star candle coming down? Again, it's building at its opening price. Okay, I'm going to attempt to buy now. I'm going to place my stop loss below that wick. Below. Okay, see where that hourly white line is? I know that that's good support in this green block below me. I'm just going to place it right below that 5 minute wick right there for protection. I'm going to see if I can hold this a little longer than I normally do and see if it builds. Absolutely, it could definitely come back down and retest this and then go back up. Okay, so maybe did I enter a little too early? Okay, but I was waiting. It came down, back up, came down, back up. It was a spin top candle. Again, these spin top candles have a 50-50 of continuing to go back to the upside or come back down in here, kind of hoping that it can kind of build off of this body of this candle. So I'm testing out a buy, and if it and then I'm allowing it also room to breathe. If it comes into this green zone to maybe build back up to go into the news. But there's the official retest now. Okay, so you can see I went in a little early here, and now I should have waited right there to maybe look for an entry. Okay, but let's just see. I'm just testing out the volume again, guys. Okay, this is not the greatest volume to be trading. I just want to see if we can maybe test this hourly resistance and break through this morning. But the sellers are still strong. So this also gives me bias going into news. And sellers are still strong. We do have a lot of resistance right up here. So if I use my white line as the point of interest and I bring it down to those bodies right there, you can see where we're getting a lot of resistance right there still in the market. Okay, so we traded into it. Sellers are still holding strong. So let's see if this is going to be a true depth of market for the buyers. Will they continue to respect these higher lows and bring it back up? If they can start to bring it back up, we have that 9 EMA maybe getting up to that 200, and we could in fact have that golden crossover to continue to maybe push through all of this resistance. We have a lot of resistance above us, okay? But we're currently building a little bit off the bottom on our depth of market here. So it's in a consolidated phase. We are not trending anywhere right now. It's just sellers are selling and buyers are buying. I'm one of the buyers holding that drawdown, but again, it's where the body closes. So I'm hoping that the buyers can continue to ask to trade up here. Emmanuel, am I planning on holding this through the news? If I'm in it and we're going into the news, yeah, I'll be holding it. But, it's hard to say until volume speaks. Like if I get the move that I'm looking for just coming through here, obviously I'm going to close out a good portion of it prior to the news and then just hold a small portion maybe at a break even. However, I might be stopped out prior to even going into the news. So it's a good question, but it's hard to say right now. I might even close it, prior to even realizing my stop loss down here. Like if this is a bearish engulfing candle closing below, next bar could come down in here. Maybe I don't want to hold through that, but that's why it's a green zone for a reason. I want to see if the buyers are in fact strong. If they break this down, then we know that this is not a strong green zone. Then we could have a significant sell-off. Okay, so it closed right near the low. It's got a bearish engulfing candle opening, so it could definitely come back down. The daily candle is right here. It's just this spin top, and we're right at the opening position. So we really haven't moved anywhere today. There was a big move up. It came all the way back down, and it came right back. We're exactly where we opened right now. Okay, I've seen enough of that. I'm going to close this trade out. Okay, I don't want to even come down to hit my stop loss. So I closed it out. I realized the loss right there of where I entered down to there. So I took a loss, but I don't want to give it a full loss. So again, I don't want to trade this. I tested this volume out. I don't want to trade this stuff. I hate trading this stuff where it kind of goes up, comes down, might go up, might come down. It's not for me. This might be for other traders that want to accumulate this. I saw enough on that candle. It didn't break that high, came bearish engulfing down. This opened ignited. That's it. I saw enough. I got out of it. I took my 25 pip loss and I'm out of this. I don't want to give the market more back when I see this, guys. I could definitely continue to stay in it. I don't play the game. I'm sorry, guys. I don't play this what would have happened, what could have happened, what should have happened. I look at one candle, I see where I bought in, the buyers were there, they got rejected in this red box, it came down, they engulfed all of those previous buyers. I was also part of those buyers as well. That's what I was hoping, that they would be strong, and the sellers showed me that they engulfed them, and next bar opened ignited, not even like bullish anytime, just moved down. So I've seen enough. That's all I need to see as a scalper. I'm out of that. Sometimes I'm in a trade for 2 bars. Sometimes I'm out of a trade for 2 bars. Yes, I could have definitely continued to hold it, but to me, I'm out of it. Like I'll realize that loss. No problem, guys. It doesn't matter if I have 10,000 or 20,000 viewers online. I'm not here for any ego or this or that. This is how I trade. If you don't like this style of trading, go to another channel. Okay. I seen enough right there. So it's coming down. Now, let's watch and see if there's going to be a fake out down low. Okay. This is what I'm more interested in, to see if they'll fake out the market down there, take out those lows, and then the buyers will come back in. But again, this is too much prior to news in the next 12 minutes. I don't want to engage in this shit. Okay, but what we're noticing is where the bigger neckline is. 25 pips, I can hopefully, make that back up on today's call. Okay. But when you go down maybe 30 or 40 or 50 pips, it's a lot harder. You're making it more harder for yourself to recover losses. Okay. So okay, you see right there. And remember what I told you, if I was still in that trade, my stop loss was kind of below those wicks right down in there, I could have been stopped out. Okay, so I'm not here to just increase the stop loss and just stay in a trade just for the hell of it. I was good enough. I saw sellers are in control right now. That's all we need to see. What do you guys think for PPI? Do you guys think it's going to go up? Do you guys think producers, it costs them more money to buy products and put them on the shelves for us? Do you guys think that that's going up from the previous month, or that will be down from the previous month? This is Comex market open right now, 820, guys. Maybe some of you guys are forgetting about this because everyone's just worried about the 830 news. But this is Comex right now that's opening up at 820, okay? So I look at the move. They brought it all the way down right into here. It opened Comex right now, bullish ignited candle coming right back up, but still trading in this zone right over here. So just to reiterate, because some of you guys are saying it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Make sure you guys understand what the implications are, okay? So actual greater than forecast is good for the U.S. currency, okay? So greater than the forecast. So we'll see if it comes in greater over here, okay? We'll do NASDAQ and US 30 in just a bit, okay? We'll come back to those in a moment. Right now, let's watch gold, how it's building, still in this green zone during COMEX right now. Look at the daily candle. Okay? This is today's daily candle. We're right back at the opening position, right prior to like news. Is this like, wow, like all day trading, it came up here, it came all the way down here, and we're basically right back to the opening price right when news, high impact news. It's like you would say, wow, like did they fix this to do this? Did they actually manipulate the price of gold to go up to the highest point of the day, bring it back down, and somehow manage to bring it right back to the price where it opened at 6 p.m.? If you kind of want to clean up this mess, maybe if you go to the 15 minutes, you might see something. Look at the 15 minutes. 15 minutes aren't anything special either. Just trade. Look at the volume. Just trading in here with indecision on the upside. You got like just moving nowhere. That was that move coming right back in here. So the 15 minutes, you could go to the 30s. Look at the 30 minutes. You got a spin top, spin top, spin top. Guys, this is horrible volume. Horrible on all time frames. On 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, on 1 hour. There's currently no direction in the market. We just have both sides accumulating, sellers and buyers. There's going to possibly be a big spike at 8:30. Okay, could just go right through here, back up bullish, or it will just dump bearish. Okay, depending on those numbers. Now, if you are in a current trade, I'm just pointing that out there. Just please, guys, manage your risk. Okay, because it could get really crazy. We have U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent speaking over here as well. Okay, so he's speaking on the Fed. Maybe we will start with a 25 basis point cut and accelerate. U.S. Treasury on the Fed, I believe there is room for a series of rate cuts. To get to neutral, that would be about 1.5% point cut. Wow. Okay. So we got the Treasury Secretary Bessent speaking over here on the Fed. We've got gold going into PPI red folder news. Okay, so again, have some rules, guys. Maybe some of you guys are going to maybe trade the first minute of news. Maybe some of you guys are already in a trade prior to the news. Maybe some of us are going to wait for the first 5-minute candle to close regardless of what it does. And some of you guys might be waiting for the 15-minute candle to close from 8:30 to 8:45. Whatever your plan is, just make sure you use proper risk management. That's it. Whatever your strategy is, no problems. We got 5 more minutes. Okay, and double check your spreads too, guys, okay? Because spreads accelerate and really move with prior and with news, okay? So if you guys can just take a look at your spreads, again, that's what I'm doing. My spread is relatively stable right now at 0.5 pip for gold, which is not bad, but that's significantly going to change as soon as we drop this news in 3.5 minutes, okay? iPad, you never traded news before? Then don't make this your first time trading news. Just watch and observe. Okay, and Mohammed, if it's you, I would recommend just watching and seeing the volatility when dropping news. Okay, you might say, "Oh man, I never want to trade this." So just just watch it. Okay, learn. Some of you guys already have a bias. Some of you guys already maybe have factored in the PPI news. You know what it might do to the US dollar, so therefore you know how it will correlate with gold. For example, some of you guys might be on a sell on gold and you might get a huge bearish candle coming down. That's perfect if that going to your plan. But what happens if you're short and it's a huge bullish candle going opposite side? Okay, so you got to be prepared for what's to come. Where your stop loss is. Again, if you're trading with a tight stop loss, no matter if you're on a buy or sell, you could possibly get triggered with the volatility. And you might get slipped up as well. Okay, there's slippage involved. I don't know about you with your brokers or prop firms, but there is slippage involved. If you have a hard stop, it could bypass your stop loss, and wherever it will fill you, right? It's next available fill, especially with that volatility. You're not guaranteed to, if I was to trade news and I place my stop loss below that wick, it might not just, when it's coming down with that momentum, it might just break through there and it maybe fill me down there when I was expecting to get stopped out there. That's what we call slippage. So a lot of accounts get slipped up during high volatility news. Okay. But here we go into the news, 1 minute, 22 seconds. They might release it right away. It might take 10, 20 seconds delay here before maybe they release it. But we've got our core PPI excluding energy and food, and then the regular PPI all month over month, and then our unemployment claims. So we got 3 high impact red folders. Good luck to everyone. I'm going to be waiting for the first 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm telling you guys straight up front, it doesn't matter what it does. What if it breaks down? I want to see how low it will go. Will it hit the lowest point of the day? Will it come back? Will this be like a double bottom down here and come back up? Will it come all the way, break through this block and engage into the bigger selling block, then dump down? Okay, they could be grabbing liquidity on the news. Good luck to everyone. And there's going to be someone, unfortunately, in the group that's going to, on YouTube or Zoom, regardless, that is not listening to anything I'm saying and is highly over leveraged and going to gamble into the earnings and flip a coin. If that's your strategy, I wish you the best of luck. Okay. Not my strategy. Here we go, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Here we go. Okay, bearish ignited drop. Okay, will they pick up a wick quickly? Or is it going to come all the way down, guys? Double bottom, like all the way down there. So it's dumping, coming down. Very strong US dollar. Okay, follow this thing. Where is it coming down to? Right down to that red line. Okay, will it hold support, or are they going to take out the low? Are they protecting the low of the day? Let's just look at the news real quick. Okay, so it came in core PPI. Holy shit, 0.9. Wow, PPI month over month, 0.9. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wow, those are big numbers. Above their forecast of 0.2. It's kind of like 4 times more. Okay, so dollar is very strong right now. Okay, so if this bar closes below here, this big red zone, I'm going to flip, this big green zone, I'm going to flip red. Okay. Just cleaning up my charts, getting ready for this body to close soon. Okay, but notice, have they taken out the lowest point of the day? Not yet. Okay, so just recognizing patterns. It came down, back up. All of this is where it was kind of consolidating in here. So sellers won here, where they redistributed down. It came down almost to the lowest point of the day, but did not break for a new lower low. So the buyers now are buying it back up. Okay, so we'll figure out where the body closes in 3 more minutes. Will it close back in this zone? Will it close below it? Or will it close above it? What I'll do for now is just make this zone neutral so it doesn't confuse anyone. Okay, so it's a neutral zone. Okay, and we'll make it green, red, or neutral regarding this closing volume. Wow, okay. Those numbers, holy shit. So producers are paying a lot more to put things on the shelves over here. Food and energy and everything. Okay, so when we're talking about that, Walmart's products to buy since last month going into this month for the month of July is costing them 4 times more than the forecast. Okay, Walmart CEO said we're going to try and absorb as much as this costs as we can, so we don't pass it down to the consumer. But what I was saying before is They can only absorb so much. They're in the business to make money. They're not in the business to break even or lose money. Maybe they can do it for 1 or 2 months, but to sustain that for multiple months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, it just, as a business person, if you own a business, would you be able to sustain that, paying rent, paying your bills, and not making any money and absorbing all these additional costs due to inflation and tariffs? I know that you don't want to pass it down to your customers, but holy shit, okay? Those were some big numbers. Here are all the numbers coming out on Financial Juice over here. If you guys want to see, like there's the Bureau of Labor Statistics.government news release. So you can click on that PDF folder and it will show you exactly where these numbers were derived from. That's the US PPI July report right over there. Okay. Dan, you blew your account. Like I said, someone is going to blow their account. Okay. It happens every time. And I know it's going to happen. So, I'm used to it. I've been doing this for a while now. There's a lot of traders that gamble with these news. And a candle like that can blow your account, can liquidate you. I'm telling you guys. I feel bad for you, Dan, but you got to learn from this. Unless you want to continue trading like this, that's up to you. But it's hard to sustain that type of trading. You're too over leveraged, way over leveraged. You don't want to leverage on news like this. Because let's just measure the size of this 5-minute candle. Look, it's a 110 pip candle, 110 pips. Chris, you bought the low? Nice little buy off the bottom. Okay, so where did we close? We officially closed below this zone. So technically, this is a red zone now, okay? So it was neutral during that news, now it's red. So if I kind of want to maybe sell with this, maybe I got to wait for a pullback to come back somewhere into this red zone. Will it come back into the red zone? It might not. So my next option is identifying 50% of that bearish volume that just closed. Okay, it's approximately right around there. So now the buyers are coming into this. Let's see if it will get rejected at 50%. If the buyers break above there, then I know they're cutting through that point of control, and then we could maybe retest this supply zone above us. Okay, so if we're looking to sell pullbacks, see how it didn't stop at 50%, it's coming right back up. Do we want to sell now, test out a sell in this red zone? But this could be a bullish engulfing candle and close back above here and maybe move back up. So now I see it got rejected, okay, a little bit above 50%. So it's coming back up, rejecting back down, still has a little bit of bullish volume. Tony, do I use trend lines part of analysis? Yep. If there's a significant trend line, more on the higher time frame. So if I see like a daily trend line, maybe a 4-hour trend line, hourly trend line, it holds more weight than just like a 5-minute trend line. So definitely go, Tony, with your higher trend lines and watch how the lower time frames react on those trend lines. But yep, the trend is your friend. Try to the best of your ability to continue to trade with the trend as much as you can. If you're countering the trend, I have rules when I counter trade a trend. I might be in and out. I have specific discipline rules when I'm trading against the trend because I know that I'm taking a counter trade against it. I know it might be short-lived. If I make some profit, I'm in and out of that. Okay, so we still have a big bullish candle coming all the way back up. So let's see the reaction now in that bigger block if it comes in there. Also, if I'm not in a trade on this, I'm also watching where this body of volume will close. Once the news settles down, we could see maybe gold moving up bullish, for example. Like if we look at the overall, consider this to be one bottom, all of this as the neckline. I would more consider the white line up there because it's hourly. We came down with the news, look, like a double bottom. They didn't break the lowest point of the day so far, so it's kind of holding some volume right here. Will it come back, maybe trade in here, maybe close above there? We'll flip it, and then we could have like a reversal today, possibly. But right now, it came back up so far, rejected back down. And we got 90 more seconds to go into the close. So again, we're watching where maybe the volume will close. Will it close below the second half of this candle, like below 50%? Maybe flag down here. Maybe next bar will be like a bearish ignited bar pushing, continuing down. So we see that it got rejected. It did not transact in the bigger red zone where I wanted it to. Okay, so they flipped that entire candle. So you see all that bullish volume came up, got rejected. We have a long distance wick to fill down below us. So it could just come down, come back up. I'm going to wait now since I've been waiting on this candle. I have the ability to wait 54 more seconds to see exactly where it will close. NASDAQ and US 30 are making some moves. Holy. Yeah, that's a nasty sell right there. My goodness. Okay. If you grabbed it, good for you. But if you're waiting, I would definitely be looking for 50% of that big bearish candle. Lady Stone, you caught that sell. Chris, you got it? Wow, Efren, you made your goal on that sell. Good for you guys. It's risky trading in my opinion, but hey, sometimes it works out. I didn't do a top down on that, so I didn't see the overall. Maybe you guys walked into that beautiful sell. It looked to me like a kind of a double top. Okay, look at now how it's coming right back up. Look at the volume, right around 50%, okay? So it closed, look at where I placed that red line I was guessing 50%. It closed right at it. It just opened bearish, making a higher low right now. So we're trading below the red zone. Okay, it's coming down. Will it take out these? Will it continue selling off? Okay, so maybe continue to sell with this thing. I might be looking, I'm going to continue to sell with this, okay? So I'm going to place my stop loss. I'm going to go a little higher above the red zone. I'm looking to come back down and break today's low on gold, okay? Maybe break down it a little bit. I'm going to sell on gold. It dropped, it came back up, kind of retested up there, closed right at 50%, bearish igniting candle coming down. So I'm in a sell. Going to see if this can continue to push for some lows, maybe get some bearish volume closing below here and continue to work its way down and maybe take out today's lowest point of the day. They attempted it with the news. They didn't manage to take it out. So maybe it will come down eventually down there. Okay. So I'm in a sell on gold. This will be my final trade on gold. Then after that, I'm going to move over to indices. Okay, so I'm going to test out to see if we can continue to move with this selling pressure. We're closed below that red block. We did push down. It did retest, but I want to see kind of if this can be maybe like a 3-bar bearish play where the volume could consolidate, continue right here to consolidate, maybe like a bear flag, and maybe continue to push and close below here and continue to push down. Maybe this daily candle can continue to start to bid down into here. But we still haven't retested the red box as well. So that's why I'm placing my stop loss above the red box. 50% of the red box is right there. So even if it has to come into here, I know I'll be in drawdown, but maybe it needs to retest there and then to get the bigger offers, to get the bigger sells. But let's see. I'm in a sell testing it out. Okay, it's now got a hanging man candle where it did come down, coming back up, still holding that ignited head of volume. Can it continue to absorb those buyers, come down and close below here? And if you guys are on NASDAQ and, US 30, figure out where that point of control of that big bearish bar is, maybe for any pullbacks. Okay, we got 2 more minutes to go on this candle. I have a little gap on my broker, like right around here. So I just want to see too if it is filling the gap and then continue to push down. Okay, because when they dropped that news, there was a significant drop, a gap in the market, which has not been filled yet. So it fills that gap up to that 9 EMA. Okay, so that gap is being filled right now. So now I got to see, now we're attempting in this red zone. Will the sellers be here to protect this, or are we going to continue to transact in here? Okay, so let's see now, going into the close, will the sellers be here to push this body of volume down now that that gap has been filled? Okay, so 20 seconds to go. And a new 15-minute body is also opening up at 8:45. So that's a nasty wick. I know I'm trying to sell that thing, but I'm trying to relay on this red box to hold up here. Doesn't look like it is. So I got my stop loss above there just in case it breaks out. Don't want to be part of that breakout. So now it's officially transacting back in that red zone. Will this hold up and will the sellers be here? If not, guys, if we close above here, I'm getting stopped out, but there's to tell you that gold could be bullish for the rest of the day and continue to backfill that upper wick. So that could really change the depth of market. So going forward, guys, if you're looking to buy gold, if it kind of closes above here, this entire red zone will flip. You had that big grab during the news. I'm looking to see if we will come back down to that lowest point of the day, but does not look like it's going to hold here. Samuel, you have no idea on gold this week? Yeah, I know it's tough. Same with me. I'm struggling reading it myself. Okay, stopped out. Shit. Yeah, I'm done for gold. Those are my 2 strikes on gold right there. So I'll be moving over to indices in a little bit, but I'm not going to take any more trades on gold. I'm not reading it properly today. If this closes above here, I'm just going to go through the motions and flip it green. And looks like big double bottom on gold, okay, on the 5 minutes over here. So just looking at the recognition of the patterns, it's holding there. There's all of this garbage up here, up to that white line. That's where you have the big breakout. Came down there. I was looking on that bear flag to continue to come down and fill down to that lowest point of the day to break it because they came so close to break it. So you can see how it's holding strong. Big kind of, if you look at that wick to consider that the double bottom, but more the higher low volume breaking above there. That's what I would be watching. If you guys are going to continue to trade gold today, I would be watching this white line, 3,359.60, closing above there and pushing and then breaking out. But I hate when gold trades like this. It's tough, especially with this daily candle looking like this. It's a coin flip. These are those tough candles that could go either direction, So, but the closing volume will dictate everything. So I'll continue to watch gold, but I'm not going to take any more trades on this. We'll do the analysis on US 30 and NASDAQ. Maybe we'll see how that moves going into Wall Street. But man, tough week for me so far. Sometimes like this, when I have tough weeks like this, where I take like multiple days of taking some losses. Then you got to kind of grind it back out. Some days like this, going into a Friday, I take Fridays off. When you're not reading the markets correctly, and Fridays traditionally are tough days in the markets, I'll let you guys know if I'll be here tomorrow. Okay, while gold's doing this, I kind of don't want to look at this shit anymore. Let's go look at NASDAQ. Maybe we can catch a nice pullback on NASDAQ and US 30. So I'm just going to do a quick analysis, not even like how I normally do. Just get the daily bar indicator and just see what's going on here. Okay. So I'm just going to go through where we opened, what's the highs, what's the lows, where we're at right now, just on the daily. Okay, so sorry guys, I'm just going through what I do, what I see right over here. Okay, there was a little flag right there in the market that held up. So that's got to be a zone right there. We're below it, we're red. And then all of this right over here, this was, remember, trading yesterday. Okay, so yesterday's Wall Street move pushed up, came back, we held this area, continuing. So we got this big bearish drop right through here. So where do we kind of have a neckline? What I would be looking at is maybe like right here, okay, to see what type of reaction we get coming up. So right now it is coming up. A lot of the volume is right now during the news. So again, just grabbing this tool just to find out where approximately 50% of this is, or a zone off of that candle. And the zone is much bigger because look at the size of that volume of that candle. It's a big base candle. Holy. Okay. Wow. So just measuring that entire candle. Okay, 180 pips. Okay, so the 9 EMA is right in the point of control of that news candle that just dropped. The 200 EMA is more at this higher time frame zone above us. We just had that bearish crossover, but now you're getting a pullback coming right back into that zone. So, if you want to look for sells, right? You want to sell, like maybe you didn't sell this news candle. Now it's coming back into there. So let's see if it comes in there. I'm just going to place an alert in there just to alert me if it comes in, hits in there, because we're going to also do NASDAQ in just a second here. Okay, so we got US 30 right to the left. NASDAQ is very, very similar. Okay, with the big drop. Sorry guys, just setting up these charts, getting ready for 9 a.m. move over here. Okay, we had good support here, held all night, okay? And then this news just broke right through it. Okay, and then just kind of looking at the news candle, again, we're retracing back up. Okay, but if we want to kind of sell maybe some pullbacks. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust this red zone that I have because we're trading right at it. Okay, so there's that 618. I'm just going to bring it down to that 382 right there and pinpoint where 50% is right there. Okay, so just watching NASDAQ come right back up. Okay, so these two are side by side. Continue to watch these things. Yeah, so gold is just playing games over here. Okay, so came right back up, pushed it right back down. Bear shooting star. They could definitely consolidate it below here. Gold's not the greatest, guys. Let's watch indices. Maybe we'll get maybe a good retracement coming back up. So I'm going to wait to see if it trades back into this zone, maybe to continue to sell down with this. Same with NASDAQ. But you see how kind of it came right up there and then they push it back down. If you go into a sell, you know, it could come right back up and come a little higher in there. So I'm going to kind of wait for a move to come inside, right into here, as opposed to just selling prior to it, transacting in here. I'm going to try and wait for it to come up there. And we're heading into 9 a.m. in 5 more minutes, guys. So new hourly candles. So I know if you look at the hourly candles, it's basically the first 5 minutes of that news. Okay, but hourly move was coming up to the highest point of the day, came back down, came up, kind of had some nice tops up there. You can consider that like a double top. So it's dropped all the way down to that lowest point. That's that hourly neckline. This is that 5-minute zone we're looking at. So will it come back into here and then trade back down? Same with NASDAQ over here, where it pushed back up, broke right through there to that lowest point of the day. Will it come back and trade into this zone today? Maybe for a possible pullback sell in there? Quite possibly. It could also come back down, maybe create a double bottom and then come back into there. But if we want to sell pullbacks, it's that big bearish candle. So we got to wait patiently. I have an alert in there. I'm going to place an alert on NASDAQ. We'll see if it comes in there. And like I said, if it doesn't come in there right now during this session, maybe later this afternoon, it'll come in there. And that's where you can wait patiently. That's why I set alerts in there. So if I walk away from the computer and I'm not watching, at least maybe if the volume eventually gets up there, I'll get alerted. That doesn't mean I just jump in and just hit the sell button, but I watch to see what happens in there. Maybe it will come in there. Maybe it will reject down, close back below. For example, maybe come in there. I get alerted, and then it retraces back down there. Maybe retest this, then gets ready to sell back down. Sometimes it does not come in there right away. Okay, you see how that one came really, really close to it, and then they rejected it right back down. And this red box is still holding. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for US 30 and NASDAQ to come back into the zone and then kind of get rejected back out. So that would have been a proper sell in the zone. I went a little bit too early. I was looking for the continuation sell a little earlier, and I got caught with my hand in that cookie jar. Things will change up at 9 a.m. At the new hourly. So right now, just looking what they're doing. Okay, so it came down so far. We kind of found the bottom. We got a little bit of a neckline here. So will it come back down? Second bottom, maybe somewhere down in here, and then that second leg maybe come in there, and then maybe they drop it down. Or guys, it could turn bullish again during Wall Street. Could come back up here, maybe trade into that one, come back down, retest this, then it's a green, and then all of a sudden maybe they could flip today's news candle and turn it back up. But right now we got 50% point of control of that big news candle. We have this bigger, higher time frame zone of resistance above us. All night it was holding, like you can see even from yesterday, Wednesday, all night. It came back down in there, back up. And then the news broke it, okay? So this red zone just represents the news candle. Above us is the bigger supply zone. Okay, and look at the markets, how you have that big, huge drop, and then look at how it's just kind of consolidating in this now small little range here. So like, oh, you got to wait through this stuff. Even NASDAQ kind of barcoding now. After that big significant drop, this is now the volume building going into 9 a.m. So the markets are spooked right now. So got to continue to wait and watch, let it accumulate, and get ready for the next moves. Okay, so this is 9 a.m. So it came back up, did not transact back in that red box. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to kind of sell a proper pullback in there, and the market has not came into me. So do you want to, like, you can sell right now, earlier? And yes, it could definitely continue to break down. But, after taking a couple losses, now I want to be more disciplined, more patient, and I got to wait for it. If it comes in there, I'll entertain a sell, but I also got to understand that if it comes in there, buyers could be breaking right through there. So got to wait for it, okay? Either on NASDAQ or US 30. More so I trade US 30, waiting for it. But will it come up to me? Maybe. Will it not? It might continue pushing down, okay? Yeah, gold is not the greatest right now. And remember, if you're looking, there's going to be buyers, like you guys might be accumulating buys. Just measure it. If it trades like right into about 50%, you're up 40, maybe 50 pips. If it gets to the top, 60, and just know that there could be sellers in there, okay? Just from history tells us that point of control could be where sellers are. So if you're buying into there and it comes in there, just understand that maybe reduce your risk, go to a break even, take some money out if you're in a buy. Because if you're in a buy, you are definitely counter trading all of that news volume, right? So if you are in a buy and you get some nice pips coming back in there, just be aware that it could come in there and go back down. And like anytime I'm in a buy and I'm coming in there, you guys probably always hear me saying, I'm going to a break even, I'm taking out 50%, 80%, and I'm going to leave the rest running with break even. If we do break through there, my runner will go, and closing above, then maybe I could add another buy if it breaks through there. But coming in there, more than likely it comes in there and has a high probability of getting rejected back down. We haven't transacted in there as of yet, okay? So we can't say anything yet. Okay, we got a SST sell signal out for gold. If you guys are looking at it on Discord over here. To sell below 33.50 to 55. So you see it's a 50 pip area. So to sell back below 50 to 55. So if it comes back down, coming down in here, maybe entertain, maybe a sell. I'm not looking at gold myself right now. I'm looking at the indices right now. So I'll tell you guys ahead of time what I'm looking for. I'm looking for US 30 to come somewhere inside here, maybe up 50%, and then looking for the drop to come back down, okay? Same thing here. Same with NASDAQ, if it can come in there, somewhere right around there, and continue to break the lowest point of the day. Takes a while for price to come back in there. It might not, right? That's a lower high. You know, if we just look at the bodies of the candles, it's producing a lower high right there. So maybe it might not come in here. Maybe it just continues to stay below here and dropping. Very similar like NASDAQ. It came in there, keeping the volume below here and continuing to break down. Just barcoding US 30. It was bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. NASDAQ maybe could be creating a double bottom down in this location and just right above the lowest point of the day. Okay, could be making a higher low to come back up. And we also have Wall Street coming up in the next 23 minutes. So it's going to get a lot of news coming up. Sorry, not news, but markets open. And in news-wise, just going into Wall Street, what news do we have coming out of all of that? PPI news. We have some British news at 9:30, and then 10 a.m. we have an FOMC speaker, and then later today we have mortgage delinquencies. Not much, but President Trump speaks this afternoon at 1 p.m. If you are trading in the mid-afternoon, just keep an eye on that. Anytime he's talking about anything related to the economy, it could affect the securities we're trading. So again, pay attention to that when he is speaking. Okay, so just watching. This is like a second bottom in the making where NASDAQ came down. Okay, yeah, it made that lowest point of the day, but see where the bodies of volume closed? A neckline is kind of right around here where all that volume is closing. It came back down. This is the second leg now on NASDAQ. Will it come back up? There's that like W. Will it break through here? Then if it does, then it might trade right into that point of control up there. And then I want to look for sells inside that red zone. So it is slowly building, maybe to trade back in there. So as it's building, this block is getting more and more and more offers pending in here. All we got to do is kind of transact in there, maybe activate those, and then maybe we can get that clean push to the downside. This might be during Wall Street, right? And Wall Street could, technically break right through here with that strong Wall Street volume, but then we got to watch how the bar will close. Maybe it might come in, trade up into that higher time frame zone, and then they push it back down. Then it will retest that kind of like a head and shoulder pattern, continue push down. So remember, Wall Street comes in with a big injection of volume. So then it could bypass this zone, like break right through it, fill all those orders, go a little higher. But that's why I have that higher time frame red zone above us. That one held the entire night, where you can see it was holding support there. The market went up to the highest point of the day. It retraced back down. See how it bounced back up. It came back down in there and bounced back up to the second top of the highest point of the day. And then news really redistributed all that volume down. So this one is just reflecting the news body of that candle. We've got the bigger red zone above us. Okay, so here's the news now. If you want to read the news regarding PPI, producer prices surge, inflation shock. So core producer prices rose the most in 3 years. The reading provides a jolt for investors and the Fed. Okay, so this could dramatically change Powell's stance on maybe that September rate cut. Okay, so remember, this is a big increase on the producers' forecast. Okay, it was kind of, what was it, 4 times more, basically, from what was their forecast, 0.2. It was almost, a little more than 4 times more were the actual readings that came through here. So that's significant. So again, we'll feel the effects of this month over month, right? This is just the start. This is reflecting July's numbers. Our next PPI reading will be in September, and it will reflect August numbers. Okay, so it's continuing to build its way back up. Higher lows, higher low, pushing back up. It's got to break that high to continue to trade into here. This is the double bottom on NASDAQ. There's the second bottom. Second bottom traditionally has more volume to maybe continue to push through here. Samuel, rate cut. Analysts were saying about 94% a couple weeks ago that there might be a 25 basis point rate cut come September FOMC. But, when you got these type of numbers coming in, Powell might say, again, we need to pause, maybe get more data coming in the next few months regarding inflation, regarding the tariffs. Obviously that's not what Trump wants. Trump wants rate cuts, and Powell might be losing his job soon. Trump already has his 4 replacements in line. So, it's tough. What would that do to the U.S. dollar if Trump gets rid of Powell? Like, it's kind of the Federal Global Reserve, so it's a lot of drama, but it will affect the U.S. dollar, will affect investments globally for the U.S. dollar if that does happen, if Powell is replaced. If his term comes up, that's fine. That's how things happen. If his term is up, then a replacement comes in. But when you're being fired, that's a different story. Okay. So again, that's developing. I'm just telling you what I hear around the markets and on news. If you read this financial juice, it comes in all the time. Tomorrow we have also big global news. Trump is meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska to discuss ceasefire in Ukraine. So that could affect markets as well. Okay. All securities you trade: crude oil, gold, NASDAQ, and US 30. Adele, Ron, please consider doing both XAU USD and XAU EUR. Okay, tomorrow we can do that. Okay, instead of having like the side by side with DXY, we can take a look at gold paired with US dollar and gold paired with the euro. No problem. We can do that tomorrow. Just remind me tomorrow in case I forget. Okay, and then we'll do analysis on both of those side by side. Okay, so we're about 15 minutes away from Wall Street market open. Again, if we look at the 15-minute candles, they're not doing much after that big news. Okay, so we had that significant shock in the market with that news, big bearish candle on both US 30 and NASDAQ. And that you can see that the 15 minutes are just consolidating. So they could be continuing to build, to continue to come up through here during Wall Street, or could just, they're already building, and when Wall Street market opens, might continue just selling off. Okay, we might not even get an attempt to sell at this zone, or just watch what will happen in here maybe. Okay, we can see that there's a lot of still accumulation on the 15 minutes, and when you look at the 5 minutes, this is how it looks on US 30. A lot of coiling up, a lot of accumulating by the buyers and sellers, barcoding. NASDAQ is telling me a different story. It looks more like a double bottom is pronounced, but still kind of barcoding where it's bullish, coming down bearish, going back up bullish, come back down bearish. We still have not transacted to retest the point of control of the news bar, so still waiting on that. And when we're looking at the daily bars going into Wall Street have significant selling volume. Okay, majority of it was the news candle right there. We're trading close to the low of the day on both of them. Okay, will we continue to break for a new low today? Maybe we'll need to come back up into here and then get retraced back down. Tony, yes, I do understand that. Yeah. So there are 7 voting members of the Fed Bank Board plus Powell, 8 votes, and there's also 4 rotating reserve back votes, so a total 12. Powell does have the ultimate say. I do agree with you, but Trump has been known to just fire and do his own thing, basically, exert his power. Yeah, I don't think they'll allow him to get fired until his time is up. That's, historic. Historic, yeah, but sure, you're right. Trump is very unpredictable. So, I'm just relaying what I'm reading over here. Trump has been saying that he wants to fire him for multiple weeks and months now. But can he have the authority to do that? Absolutely not. But will that stop him? Probably not. Yeah, there you go. He just fired the woman from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that was giving accurate numbers on NFP, and now he's going to fire her, fill that position in with one of his puppets. So who will just give him bullshit numbers that he likes to hear. So that's happening, guys. Whether someone will say, "Ron, oh, you're a Trump hater, you're this or that." I don't really care for Trump or not. I don't even live in America. I'm just telling you what's going on. And he fired a executive from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, exactly where we got today's PPI numbers from. So if you look here, where do these numbers come from? The Bureau of Labor Statistics. He fired the woman that gave the NFP numbers because he said that they were false numbers. And so those were statistical numbers coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't think they have an agenda when they're releasing those numbers. But apparently he said that they're inaccurate and right away fired her. So he's trying to do the same thing with Powell. Again, that's the politics side of trading. Okay. Again, some people don't focus on that. Some people don't care. All they're worried about are the candlesticks. And is this going to retrace back into the red zone, regardless who Trump is firing or who he's not firing? Again, that's the politics side. Some traders say, "Ron, leave the politics out of trading." I understand that. I respect that too. But you got to also know a little bit what's going on the political side of trading to help you understand the bigger macro moves later on. That would definitely send a shock in the market. If somehow he pulled it off and fired Powell, that would send a global shock through the financial systems. So I have long-term investments that could affect my long-term investments. So I really want to be on top of that if he does in fact do something like that. He probably knows he can't, but it's good for his talking points and things like that. Anyways, let's get focused here. 7-8 more minutes till market open. You guys know how I feel about all politicians, so it doesn't matter who's there. They all have their own agenda. They all work for someone above them. They're all told what to do. I live here in Canada too, so I'm not just, I speak for Canada too. Our politicians here are corrupt as well, and they're all full of BS themselves. So it doesn't matter who represents us. They don't have our best interests at heart. They are businessmen, they are politicians. Their bottom line is to make money, not for me, for themselves, most of them. They lie. A lot of them do lie. They tell you what you want to hear. That you vote for them. And then when they get voted in, they do absolutely nothing for us. They give you all the talking points. They're going to lower taxes. They're going to create more jobs, things like that. And then when they get elected, that's the last thing that they're doing. It's the same everywhere you go. Okay, guys, so we're just building a little bit. The volume is accumulating. Again, if you were just to kind of box in all of this volume from the news, that's basically like what we got. This could be very frustrating trading this too for buyers and sellers. It's not going anywhere, basically. Same with NASDAQ. If you were to box that zone in, it's just going up right there, coming back down, going back up, coming back down. If you measure that zone, that's more for like a scalper to trade that zone, about 25, 30 pips zone, going up, going down 30 pips, going back up 30 pips, coming back down 30 pips. Similar US 30. You can measure the zone approximately from, it's about 30 pips exactly, okay? So, but it's accumulating. So when Wall Street opens up, yes, all of these buyers could redistribute this back up to here. You could be in a buy and grab some pips, but just keep a heads up that we have not transacted in the news candle. That's that bearish pocket, point of control, whatever you want to talk it. This red line is exactly 50% of it. Then we have that bigger red zone above us where the 200 EMA is sitting. And then we have our opening position today right there, the yellow line. So, if we want to continue to trade with the bearish volume, we could wait for a retracement in there, maybe sell the pullback, sell at a premium area. However, the buyers could just break through these areas if it's strong momentum in Wall Street. And these zones could maybe flip if volume closes above, and they could flip this entire bearish candle today and turn it back up bullish. But just regarding what we see, I see a big bearish news candle that came out, and we still haven't really retraced back into that zone. So we'll see it in Wall Street if they do bring it back up in here. Yeah, gold is pushing down. Okay, so, we had that signal from 355 to 350, basically that block right there. So it did trade back in there. You got a bearish candle coming back down, come back up. You got an ignited bar pushing back down. You could also identify 50% of that candle. Maybe if you didn't catch it, maybe retest. But ultimately, if it comes back in that red zone, that's ultimately where you want to be selling. So if you're on that SST signal, could be up 50 to 100 pips right now. Congratulations. I went in a little early on the sell. You guys saw that. So Ron had some ants in his pants. Hopefully I can take those ants out for tomorrow, and we can trade gold a little bit more responsibly tomorrow. Ron just got a little excited today. Took the sell a little earlier. But if you guys ran that, watching that 355, 350 block, congratulations, guys. So hopefully maybe you guys are still following that, and you got a few pips, but we're going to follow US 30 and NASDAQ going into market open. So we came up in here. US 30 is continuing to push down. Are they going to take out the lowest point right now, like prior going into Wall Street? So it could come down. It could continue dropping down. But again, I'm trying to be disciplined and wait for that pullback all the way in here. I might not get it, right? They could just continue dumping down the market. But that's not to say later today it's not going to come back in here, right? That's the point of why I have a clock there. I have an alert there. So maybe from 9:30 to 10, it doesn't come back in here. What about 10:30 to 11? Or maybe like 11:30 to noon? It might come back in there. And then that might give me my opportunity to sell, So that's why it's important for these kind of alerts on your charts. And we're almost there, guys. So we got another less than 2 minutes to go. Wall Street market open. Again, guys, please use proper risk management. Some of you guys did really well on on the news and kind of hit some percentages, maybe daily goals. Again, if that was me, if I hit my daily goal or around it, I would be reducing my risk right now going into Wall Street. So as you should be too. Some of you guys that maybe are at a negative, like myself right now, I've taken two losses. I'm trying to wait for a disciplined pullback for my third trade of the day. But again, I'm not over leveraging. I'm not revenge trading. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm again waiting for that opportunity to try and sell here, because there was a lot of sellers that missed that news candle, right? It dropped so fast. So there's got to be some pending orders in that block. There's got to be some pending sell orders there, waiting, pending. I'm a pending order myself. I don't have a pending order in the market. I do market executions, but I'm telling you, I am pending, waiting in there, just like as if I was a pending order. I'm waiting to follow this kind of arrow. If it comes in there, I'm looking for a sell. It might come a little higher with Wall Street volume, then I'll sell that kind of red box. But again, we take it candle by candle. It might come in there and then get a wick and then go back up and close above here. And then we got to flip that to a green zone. Okay, now we got NASDAQ coming right back up into market open, 20 seconds. Okay, so US 30 has made like a double bottom so far. Okay, so if you're looking to maybe go into a buy, again, no problem. You can make some pips in a buy, but just understand, you got some red levels above us. Here we go. This is market open. Okay, so you're going to see some big volume coming in the markets now. I like to trade more US 30 than NASDAQ. That's just me personally, but so you guys trade what you're comfortable trading. Again, I'm going to wait also 5 minutes, let the markets open up, see what's going on in the pre-markets. Okay, everything is pretty much red, in the market open right now. Everything was red in the pre-markets. I don't see too much green on our securities right now. But again, it's just the first minute of Wall Street. Okay, so US 30 just broke a new low of the day right now. Okay, there could be pending buyers right down below the lowest point of the day. Maybe they got filled right there with that wick. So maybe they're going to return this candle back up to here. We've got a little bit of indecision in the first 90 seconds on NASDAQ, where it came up bullish right up to that red box, came back down to about 50% of that previous 5-minute candle and coming right back into that zone. Okay, so now we're going to start to maybe attempt to trade into that news block, that bearish news block up there. Okay, so NASDAQ is coming in there. Okay, so while this is happening now, all of those pending orders are getting activated. Remember, pending orders are just like sitting ducks. They just sit there, and then the aggressor activates them. So far, it's the bullish aggressor activating those. So those are not just sell orders in there. Those could be buy limits. Those could be buy stops. Those could be stop loss orders. Like these previous sellers, maybe their stops are in here. Those are all getting activated as well. So there's a lot going on in this block up there, okay? And then there could also be the sell limits and sell stops getting activated in there. And now we have 2.5 more minutes to go. US 30 is moving opposite direction, taking out the lowest point of the day. So sometimes they want to clear all liquidity, clear everything. Maybe we'll reverse back up, but at least they came down there, they took out the lowest point of the day. So markets, most securities are pretty much red across the board. Okay, due to the news. Okay, so now we got 90 more seconds going to close. You see US 30 came down, took out that lowest point of the day right there, created a new low, 44,720, and now could be reversing the candle back up and trade bullish coming into. We still have not transacted US 30 in this block. NASDAQ, however, is transacting in there currently. Okay, so they did flip the body right there. Okay, remember, open bearish, bullish. It came up. They quickly rejected it back down. Came all the way down there. Took out the lowest point of the day. Flip the candle now. Bullish pin bar into a hammer. So let's see now if it can continue drive. If you're in buys, like if you bought this candle, it's perfect. Now what we got to do is just continue to break through this resistance where we were consolidating barcoding, and then maybe we can drive up to that red zone. So that's what I was saying prior to the call. If you are in a buy, it's nice, but just remember you're trading in this block. So NASDAQ is coming right through there. Now we're at 50%, coming right through. So if it closes above here, then we're going to flip this block green, because they just activated all of those pending orders, filled them all up right now, and could, yeah, look, it closed right at the above. So I'm going to go red to green. Okay, so if you're looking now to buy, you could be possibly buying a pullback at that 50%. You could be buying a pullback down in here. They might be reversing this back up bullish, you know, and then that news was short-lived, and they could continue to look at it, could flip the entire daily candle back to the opening position is right there at the yellow line. Then it's kind of like the news dropped and we're retracing back up. Okay, so maybe you got to let it build. Maybe it will continue to be bullish. Maybe they'll bring it back down. We'll consolidate in this block. Maybe we'll break down further. But right now, bullish. Came down, short wick, kind of broke it. The 200 EMA and the opening position yellow line, daily point of interest, is right there. Now we've got US 30 coming in here as well. Okay, so, you know, if you are buying, excellent. You bought right through that block. A lot of aggression in buying. So the buyers are the aggressor on NASDAQ, coming right through that block. You could be reducing your risk in a buy by taking your stop loss maybe to a break even, maybe even using a trailing stop loss if you like, or scaling through there, or just continue holding your buy. Okay, so the reason why I flipped that zone was because that candle did close, in fact, above it. So could represent now support going forward if it pulls back into here. Some securities now are flipping red to green on NASDAQ right now. Like the notable names. Microsoft was red, now just flipped green. Google was red, just flipped green, just by a little bit, like 0.2%, but it was negative like 0.5, negative 0.1, and now it flipped. Amazon is green, 2.4% right now. Apple flipped red to green, not a significant green move. It's up 0.2%, but the red to green flip. Okay, so, you know, just watching that right now. Nice, Mike. You bought US 30, you made up your losses. Excellent. You know, sometimes you lose, sometimes you can pick up your losses. Sometimes switching from a different security helps. All good. You know, that's a great day. In my opinion, if you took some early losses and you've recovered them, you know, even if you end the day at break even, but you recovered your loss, I look at that as a profitable day. You recovered your losses. Maybe, you know, I'm speaking for myself. Like yesterday where I recovered my losses, I made some early mistakes. I corrected them, made up my losses. You know, I didn't hit my daily goal, but I just made up my losses with a little more, and that's it. I was happy with that. I was happy that I recovered my losses. And I was done for the day. It was time invested in the markets, but, you know, it takes Not every day is going to be a winning day, guys. I just want to, just because we stream live on YouTube doesn't mean every single day is going to be all profitable trades. Okay. I wish that was the case. But maybe I could come on here once a week and we'll have a good day, but we're here every single day for the past 5, almost 6 years. So, you guys probably know that. You guys have been following me for a couple of years. Ron doesn't always have a perfect day, not always a perfect week. There is losses, but welcome to the world of trading. If you think that you're going to trade every single day without taking a loss, I wish you the best. I hope that happens if you can do that, because it's hard. It's very difficult. If you can do that, you should be trading on Wall Street. And again, I use risk management. Some traders will risk 50 pips to make 15 pips, right? I could do that too. I could get in a trade and give it 200 pips of breathing room. And eventually when it goes up 30, 40 pips, say I closed out in profit and made a beautiful trade. Anyone can do that. You can do that. Go, try it. Try today going for 30 pips and give a 100 pip stop loss. Do a negative 3-to-1 R to R. See how that works out. You'll hit some profitable trades. You'll have good consistency. You'll have maybe consecutive days hitting profits, but one bad day in the market, you could give a lot back with that risk management. So it's kind of up to you. Okay, so we did transact right at that. I wasn't even watching here. See, I'm losing focus here. We came right into that red line. I didn't get my activation. I didn't get that alert because it just missed it, and now it's kind of pushing down from here. Okay, so I missed it. So do I want to enter on this candle, or do I want to wait for one more pullback? And gold closed above, so now it's retesting this, or not gold. NASDAQ is retesting the zone. It could come deeper down in there, but it still could be buyers inside here. If the sellers can cut through here and close it below here again, then it will turn into a red block. Then it looks like Wall Street just came above there, and it could come right back down. Took the Dow sell, Sherry, nice. Let's see if we can continue to break down. I missed it. Like, sometimes I talk too much, guys, and I completely missed that wick right there. That's okay. I missed it. Maybe it will come back up to me, okay? It's a good lesson. Sometimes you're going to miss it. No, I'm not in a trade right now. Okay, so now it's coming right back up. But if we look again, it's just basically the volume is kind of just still barcoding in this area. Okay, yeah, there was some moves that came up and down, but the volume is still technically inside here. Okay, so we're not really moving anywhere. It broke the low of the day, came back into that block, came back down. But look at the volume. We're still right back where it's been trading for the past hour. Okay. So like when we look at the 15-minute candle, because the 15-minute candle is going to close in the next 2.5 minutes. Okay, we can see it came in there, pushing down, took out the low. So remember, we got to make new lows in order to continue to push down. So they already established that when the market opened. And this 15-minute candle, it's kind of like a spin top as well. So, it's still not giving us enough evidence on US 30 to maybe continue to sell or buy so far until this closes. NASDAQ is on a different situation. NASDAQ is very bullish 15-minute candle. It just hit the opening price right there. So if it continues close above, maybe NASDAQ will continue to be bullish to take out that high of the day up there. Samuel, you don't understand how DJ and NAS can go opposite one day and parallel another? They are completely different indices, sir. Right? They're completely different. This is tech over here, okay? And it might be a leading indicator. Like sometimes where even the all-time highs, NASDAQ hit all-time high in S&P prior to US 30. Then when NASDAQ was selling off of the all-time high, maybe that's when we started to see US 30 making all-time highs. So kind of like US 30, you could look at it as lagging behind. This is tech leading the way. US 30 is consisted of different sectors. So it's not just tech. This shows you financials, shows you big box retail stores. It shows you oil and energy. Maybe those sectors are down while tech is up. So sometimes that's what's holding US 30 down. It's different. And the way how these are, the market caps and everything like that, it's completely different. Okay. So that's why I don't like trading these side by side, because a lot of traders see if the NASDAQ is going bullish, US 30 has to be bullish. These are not correlated. When I trade, okay, guys, now I'm telling you guys how I trade, not on YouTube. When I'm trading at this place by myself, when I'm trading US 30, I don't even look at NASDAQ. I'm not even looking at this. This is how I trade US 30. A full US 30 chart following everything here. I don't take any bias from NASDAQ because I know that US 30 has nothing to do with US 30. Similar if I was trading NASDAQ. If I was trading NASDAQ today, this is how I would be trading NASDAQ. I would be following NASDAQ. I wouldn't be looking at US 30. I wouldn't be looking at the S&P. I wouldn't be looking at DXY because I know that none of those things have anything to do with this. This is more tech. What I would be doing, maybe a split screen, is looking at Apple, maybe looking at Google, something that is tech related that could maybe move with NASDAQ, right? So I just do this for you guys. Some of you guys like trading NASDAQ. Some of you guys like trading US 30. So I give you guys, both charts. But me personally, when I'm trading, I'm focused on the price action of US 30 and US 30 only. Yes, Patrick, S&P 500 is probably the easiest index to trade from US 30 and NASDAQ. Why? Because the limited volatility. When you're trading the S&P 500, you're trading like 500 companies as opposed to NAS100 where it's 100 and US 30 where it's only 30 companies. So the more gives more exposure. It's more balanced. There's less volatility. If I was a beginner and I was moving into an index of choice and I was starting out, this week was my first week of trading, and I had the choice to trade between S&P 500, NAS100, or US 30, I would definitely pick ES or S&P 500. It's more stable, less volatile, really respects technicals, and you could have a sound trading plan following that. Then if you get more experience, then these ones, NASDAQ and US 30, are a little bit more volatile, okay? And comes with more risk. But if you're trying to de-risk, I would 100% move to S&P 500. Just learn how the ticks move instead of pips. And also gold. Gold is probably the worst security out of all of these. Gold is very volatile, very manipulated, has a lot of whipsaw action that can stop you out of a trade and go in your direction, but stop you out due to that volatility. So that's just my opinion, guys. You do what you want with that, but that's just what I got to say from that. If I had to choose from any of these, S&P 500 is probably the best. If you want to de-risk, if you're like kind of learning all about these indices, that's what I would focus on. Conrad, you're surprised I don't trade currencies? I started trading currencies. I used to trade GBP USD and Euro USD all day, every day for almost 12 hours a day when I first started out. When I moved from the stock market, I moved into Forex. It was only currencies I was trading. I was trading currencies for a good 3 years. GBP USD is one of the best currencies, and Euro USD are the best currencies to trade. But I just... as I became more and more of a scalper on the 1 minutes, I like volatility. I like things that move quickly, 20, 30 points, and I can get in and out within minutes. If you try to do that with GBP USD, it takes a while for it to move 30 pips. Maybe today from 20 years ago, it's completely different with the volatility. But again, I know what type of trader I am. I like markets. I like candles that move, like right there. If you were in a buy on NASDAQ as a scalper, possibly hit your daily goal on that bar that closed right there. Those retests, if you bought stop loss below there, you could be up a few points right there. That's what I'm looking for fast moving securities that move. But guys, you guys think I just trade this? I've traded everything on the planet, you name it. I started with penny stocks, moved my way into mid caps, traded blue chips, moved into options, moved into derivatives, moved into covered calls and secured puts. Then I moved into Forex, started with currency. Once I figured out how currency moved, I moved into gold. Had a lot of years of gold and learned a lot and took a lot of losses with gold and learned a lot about it. But I fell in love with Dow Jones. Over the years, I just fell in love with the way how it moves. For my personal style of trading, it complements the way how I trade. Everyone has their own. Like, I'm not here to push US 30 on you guys. I'm not here to push anything on you guys. Some of you guys love NASDAQ. That's fine. That's perfect. Some of you guys love S&P. Excellent. Some of you guys love crude oil. Some of you guys love Euro USD. Whatever it is, just find what works best for you. There's millions of securities you can trade, but just learn price action, learn structure in the markets. Obviously, you got to learn proper risk management. There was someone who blew their account. I said, today someone is going to blow their account on YouTube. Sure enough, as soon as the first 1 minute of that PPI was released, they came in there and said they blew up their account. Have I traded synthetic indices? Yeah, they're garbage. Synthetic. Do you know what the word synthetic means? They're made up. They're not real. Those are the most manipulated securities on the planet. So, if you want to trade those, learn all about what are synthetic securities. I wouldn't touch a synthetic security with a 10-foot pole. Okay, guys, so, look at now what happened. On NASDAQ, for instance, US 30 is still kind of just coiling up in here, but it's respecting the lowest point of the day, coming back up. It could cut right through this red zone just like how NASDAQ did in here if it continues to build, because buyers are building lowest point of the day here. This is beautiful. Look at how it flipped that big bearish candle. Today, they flipped it back up bullish. We're closed above the opening position and we're moving up to the highest point of the day. So this could now be waiting for, I still look at this zone. If it pulls back in here, I could be buying 23,800 on NASDAQ to take it back up. So if I'm waiting for a patient opportunity, I'm going to place an alert again in that. Oh, I've already got my alert in there. I'm waiting for it to come possibly back in there and I could buy the pullback. Okay. I know it's moving away from me right now, but it could definitely come right back in there and I could buy, because as it's moving away right now, I'm not the only one looking to buy. There's pending orders getting filled in the depth of market right now. Not getting filled. They're getting added, waiting to get filled, and they're coming in there. So, let's look at US 30 now. It traded inside there. It got rejected, came back down. But look, it did not close below that lowest point of the day. It broke, coming back up. We got the volume back in here. It could close up here right now in 3 minutes and continued 10 a.m., continued to push and flipped all of this bearish volume back, very similar to what NASDAQ is doing. But again, these are not similar securities. So it could just come in here and go back down, okay? If I was watching the one chart and not looking at NASDAQ, I wouldn't have that bias right now. Damon, what do you think? Where can a trader today excel if they give everything you put in time, like you, Forex, futures, CFDs, options, stocks? Which one is better? All depends on you, okay? So again, stock and options, you basically have to trade your own capital, okay? So if you have your own capital, option trading, stock trading, buying equities, and buying shares of companies is pretty good too. You can real nice swing positions. Forex is more, you got Forex and futures is great too, because you can utilize prop firms, sound prop firms. You don't have to use too much of your own capital. You can trade a prop firm. That's the benefits of that. But there's some traders that say, Ron, I don't care about a prop firm. I got my money. I want to keep 100% in trade with better spreads and things like that. It all depends, guys. Figure out. Futures is good. Forex is good. Stock market is unbelievable. We have Noor in our group. She used to trade like kind of Forex and futures. She found that now she started with $500 and she's trading options, contracts, more longer term contracts on the big names like Tesla, Apple, and holding them without dealing the stress that we do every single day here. All this stress that we go through as intraday traders and scalpers, so she can hold a little longer, and she's flipped a $500 account to $5,000, maybe even more now, because she's got Apple and Tesla contracts. So yeah, so you don't need a lot of money to trade in options. And then when you start to learn all about covered calls and secured puts, then the game really changes. But that requires capital because you have to own 100 shares of the company that you're trading. So for example, if you want to do a covered call on Apple, if Apple is trading at $200 today, you have to own 100 shares of Apple, which costs about 20,000 US dollars. Okay. And then when you're in an option chain, you can collect premium. Like Noor right now, like if she's in the money, she could now sell that contract maybe at $230 and collect $10 premium, multiplied by 100, $2,000. And if it doesn't get hit, you just collect the premium. So it's passive income coming in. I'm a big proponent of that. And then if Apple does go to 230, you get your contract realized and you make the money on the contract. So it's a win-win situation. But you do have to have the capital required to do that, to buy 100 shares of a company. So when you go in the stock market, look at the price. If you want to do it with Tesla, how much is Tesla multiplied by 100? There's $10 securities you can do it too with. You don't always have to do it with the big board securities, but that's how to learn how to do passive income. There's more to trading than just US 30, NASDAQ, and gold. Guys, I always am a big proponent with the money you're making through these markets, whether it's futures, Forex, whatever it is, start to maybe put it into a stock trading account or options account, because that's where you can really benefit and earn passive income and with lower risk. That's what the bigger traders do. And you eventually will become one of these big traders. I hope for everybody to get there, but it starts with compounding an account and then slowly it will grow. Then I know I get the same question. Everyone says, well, Ron, I don't have 20,000. I don't have 50,000. I don't have $100,000 to do that. Noor didn't have that money either. She started with $500 and has built it to 5,000. I'm sure she's going to take that 5,000 and continue in a few weeks and months and build it to 10,000, then to 20,000. Then once she gets that capital rolling, she'll have enough money to buy 100 shares of Apple and collect passive income. And so that's how it works. You can't always have that negative outlook and say, well, I don't have that money. I don't have that money. If you have that negative outlook, then you don't have anything to look forward to. You're just going to continue with that negativity. Start with compounding your account. Some of you guys are doing it right now. In the futures market, in the Forex markets, you guys are compounding. That's the power of compounding. And you see, look at US 30, guys. We're still just consolidating here. Now we're look at NASDAQ hit basically the daily high, lower high, coming all the way right back down to retest this green box and go back up. We're going into 10 a.m. in the next 2.5 minutes. So, guys, I'm going to stay for another 5 more minutes. Unfortunately, it's been a tough morning for me in these markets, as yesterday was a tough morning as well. I have some alerts set up for later this afternoon. I would love to come back and trade this afternoon with you guys. Dave will be taking over post New York. I'll be back tomorrow morning. And I think it was Adele, I believe that you want XAU, USD, and XAU EUR, so we'll do that as well. So we'll see how gold trades versus the US dollar and how gold trades versus the euro. I haven't done that ever. So normally it's always we use split screen with DXY, but definitely we will look at that tomorrow. Okay. Just make sure you guys add it to your watch list. Make sure you guys add it to your broker so you can see maybe the different spreads involved trading that tomorrow. Jitendra, options are most volatile than any other security type? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you know what you're looking for and you know how to trade options, some traders say that they're too volatile, and I say that it all depends. Okay, it all depends on the expiry date. What are you looking for? Are you looking for early expiries like this Friday? That's volatile. Like today's Thursday. Tomorrow options are, if you buy the weeklies, they're cheap right now because they expire tomorrow. But if you know how to scalp them, you could get some really nice premium on them. But if you're looking to buy Apple and you're holding it for, let's say, September or October, you're holding it. If you're following Apple, do they have any news coming? Do they have earnings coming up? Is there anything in the next couple of months that could drive Apple up? You're reducing that volatility. But that's how you make money on options. IV is called implied volatility. So if you know something is volatile and you're benefiting in the right direction, like for example, on that news candle right there, right? So if you had planned PPI to sell today in Forex, okay? So if you sold that, right? And this goes for anybody, sold NASDAQ today and you made money prior to that news, right? You could have just taken your knowledge into NASDAQ, maybe look at one of those securities, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Google, and you had a put on the option. That implied volatility, that drop would have taken your option premium to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100% on your money if you had that drop quickly like that. That's implied volatility. You had the correct direction. It moved down prior to your expiration date. You would make a shit ton of money on that if you knew that. So if you can plan this in Forex, you could do really well in options. I'm going to have an options course coming out, but I ran into some big renovations in my entire home right now, and it's taken me pretty much the whole month of July and August to complete this project. It's my entire house, my main floor, and kids' bedrooms and bathrooms and everything. Gutting the house. I was going to sell this house and buy a new one. My wife decided to keep it, and she put me to work to get to work here. So put a pause on that, but definitely, I don't want to continue just trading US 30 and NASDAQ. I'm kind of getting bored of this myself. I want to do something different, show you guys something different, what there is in the markets. And you guys can learn too. Whether you trade, you can do some paper trading, learn how it does, open up a demo account, test it out. You might say, Ron, options are amazing. I like this. I want to continue this. Some of you guys might say, options are not for me. I'm going to stick with my futures and stick with Forex. That's fine. But you have the option to learn new things. Passive income is where it's at. As you get older, you're really going to appreciate passive income. Okay, so we're at 10 a.m. We just retraced down. I'm going to go in for a buy. I'm in a buy, okay? I know my daughter plays around with these tools down here. I'm going to go in a buy. This is going to be, I see all of this accumulation. I know it's trading in this red zone, but we've already hit it. We've already closed above hourly. I just want to see if we can kind of cut through this right now. Maybe later on it will come back down. I just want to test for the next little bit if we can kind of break through this and get maybe trade up to there. Okay, so I'm just going to test out this buy. I'm going to put my stop loss just below this red line where we got a body, a body, a body, a body. And I'm going to see if we can just kind of build, take out that high, drive a little higher through here. This will be my final trade of this session. I'll stick with us for like another 5 more minutes. I might be holding on to this trade after the call. but want to see if it can continue to build out of here. Okay. But as I was saying, passive income, it's the best, guys. Okay. As you get older, that's what you want in life, more passive income. So you don't have to invest all your time in the markets. You let the markets work for you. You let your money work for you. And those covered call options are something to look forward to. Dividends, also find good high paying dividends. We got Borix in our group who has a little dividend portfolio, and it's paying him a great return as he's going into retirement and getting older. You just have passive income coming towards you. Okay, guys, we're up 25 pips right now. I'm still holding this thing. Want to get it? I want to cut through this red zone. Okay, I believe that 10 a.m. this hourly momentum can maybe at least cut through this. Okay, am I getting a little greedy? Maybe, but I've already taken 2 losses, so third one will be my third strikeout of the day. So just want to follow this candle, see where it closes, see if I can build one more bar off of this thing, get it up above 50, maybe 60 points. So let's see here. We're going to close in 44 seconds. I know I was originally looking to sell the red zone, but I was watching. We came down to lowest point of day, back up. Came down to lowest point of day, back up. Came down to lowest point of day. We closed above this consolidated zone. We retested it, and I bought that hammer candle as it was building. Broke above this high. 20 more seconds to go. So will this red line represent 50% once this bar closes? Will I be able to maybe flip this red zone green in the next little bit, similar to how I did with NASDAQ? Remember, NASDAQ is forward looking. US 30 was lagging behind a little bit. Okay, so there we close near the high. If we pull back, remember, this previous high, that wick, could turn momentarily into support. So if we do get a bearish candle coming down, let's see if we can get some point of control interest on that body of the candle. That's representing like right around 50% as well. So I would like a shallow pullback. I would love a higher low wick, because if we get a higher low, we could easily fill that wick and continue to drive to that 50 points. That's where I would be starting to reduce my risk. Okay, there we got it. Shallow pullback. We filled the wick. Now we created that new higher high. So can we just get a little bit more asking to trade kind of above here and maybe clear that little imbalance right there. This little gray zone on the chart is a little imbalance that could easily be filled if we can get right through there. So then it would travel exactly 50 pips, maybe up to that 200 EMA in the bigger red zone. Okay. So let's just continue to see if we can kind of flip this a little bit. We're still consolidating without retesting anything down in here. This zone below us could be turning into support right there. So a green box. Okay, I'll get rid of this consolidated zone. We've consolidated and now we're redistributing to the upside. So here we come back down for the pullback right there where my cursor is. That red line was resistance, now turning into support. Let's see if we can hold right here. Okay, can we get a wick right there? And we're testing 50% point of control of that previous bullish candle. Will we get point of control bullish volume here? Or is this selling candle just going to come right through here? Then it's got to come a little lower to, kind of entry point and then back down to this green zone. So far we're holding it. You see that there's a wick exactly right at that red line. So we got initial support on that pullback, showing that we do have interest in the buyers protecting that position. Now they're asking to trade back up here, so all we got to do is continue to trade as a bullish pin bar, maybe flip this as a hammer, then maybe with that additional volume we just picked up, maybe we could continue to break out a little further up, okay? But it's failing up there, coming back down. So we got a spin top candle, okay? We got buyers, sellers, but we're continuing to fill. 2.5 minutes to go. That's a good bar, but can just continue to break just right through here. Sorry guys, and I don't want to be cutting in Dave's time, so we'll wrap it up at 10:15 and then give you guys like a 15-minute break because Dave will be kicking up the Zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we got a nice hammer candle. Okay, can we just move through that little imbalance gray zone on the chart? We just got to get right above this red block. Could feel a little bit of imbalance. That would be about 50 pips from entry. Maybe if it trades up to that 200 EMA, could be about 50, 55. Top of that zone would be about close to 70 pips up there, okay? So I still haven't reduced my risk as of yet. Still holding this thing. One more minute to go into the close. So if anything, guys, you just learned what a retest was, okay? That previous resistance, how the volume closed above, you just learned a support level, okay? That's 101, basics of 101 of price action, okay? We made that new high, but we're still trading in that big red zone. So you see it's having a difficult time breaking through here. Remember, there's a lot of sellers in here, but we do have some buyers interested, but the sellers now taking over, okay? So will this close as a big bearish engulfed bar down in here? See, it now came a little lower to where I entered, and that's where now we got a big rejection coming back up. So yes, I had some unrealized gains. I didn't do anything. Came all the way back down. I lost all my unrealized gains. I'm still holding. That's a pullback, okay? And then you see where I entered? We got good support. Now the candle's flipping right back up into the close. So we might benefit from now that volume spike coming back in. Now we could technically, if we got an ignited bar, there it is. Yeah, there was a small wick. That's why I said technically ignited. Now we could maybe cut right through that imbalance and get us through there. So, you know, that took away a lot of, if I went to a break even, I would have got tapped out at break even and missed that run up. So sometimes you got to let trades breathe, you know? So I'm a scalper and I'm letting it breathe because normally on that bar, I would have been out with profit. But this is me trying to show you guys how you can continue to hold. And let's see if we can break through here and get to that 200 EMA target. It might, again, get rejected and build that higher high, get rejected, come back down. This red line is still in play. It's a static line. Whenever you guys want to decide to reduce your risk, you guys decide when you want to reduce your risk. Okay, if you want to continue to hold, you know, like this is the part of trading that sucks, is watching when you go up almost 40 pips and then watching it come all the way right back down. But again, we got to focus on structure. It's coming down higher, low, higher, low. We're still trading in the red block. I have not converted it green as of yet until like a NASDAQ when it officially closes above. Guys, hit the likes on YouTube. Not sure what happened earlier where we had 8,000 bots on here, but we're back to the normal. We have about 250, 300 viewers. So we're back to normality here. And if you guys can hit the likes, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys, you know, again tomorrow morning. Let's see if we can end the call off on a positive note here. Just kind of maybe see if we can break out of here or at least close with some volume above here. Okay, so we got now a bearish shooting star candle coming back down. So what I look for is a higher low or the red line. Will we continue to hold that red line or a higher low? Okay, so we're coming back down to that red line. Right there, will we catch support? Will we catch a wick? Or are we coming back down to entry point again? Possibly giving back unrealized gains, still holding this thing. Back to entry point. Will it need to trade back into the green zone? Right there, maybe catch that 9 EMA building and then come back up. This thing might need to consolidate in this zone while we have accumulation of buyers and sellers. Okay, and you see I didn't go to a break even, so now I could realize now some drawdown. So this might be a hold after the call, guys, okay? Because I got to end the call in about 2-3 more minutes. Give you guys time to have a break because Dave will be starting up soon. So I don't want to cut into that time, but I'm going to be holding this trade. I'm holding it right now. Told you guys, I didn't realize any profit. I haven't moved my stop loss up yet. So still holding this thing. It might need to consolidate in the zone for a little bit, maybe create a little bit of a bull flag and break itself out of here. But I understand it's a red zone. It's not easy to break these things because it is red for a reason. There is sellers there. You can see that. Every time we're coming up, it goes back down. Comes back up, makes that new higher high, comes back down. But we're building, okay? So we do have higher highs and higher lows in place. Just got to continue to accumulate here. So you know when sometimes I do a consolidated zone? Yeah, we're flagging like right in here. I know it's a lot of zones for you guys to look at, but just to understand, we're consolidating in a zone of supply right now, okay? So it's going to be a tug of war between buyers and sellers. And if we look at the higher time frames, 15-minute candle that we were in kind of broke right through there, pushed right back down. Are we going to get some 15-minute volume closing again above that red line right there, that red line? Okay, can we get the buyers to close above that, or is that going to be resistance going forward? If we close below it, then we could continue to push back down and build that block there. So we got a shitty close coming down right there, going into the next 15-minute candle. So again, we're barcoding where it's going up bullish, coming back down bearish, going back up bullish. Gold. But over here, like the 15-minute, okay, this is a new 15-minute candle that just opened, okay? But I'm going to continue to watch this after the call, guys. I got to go to the bathroom and take a quick break myself. But we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. We'll do gold with the euro tomorrow. And enjoy the call with Dave. And we'll see everyone tomorrow morning. I'm still in this trade, guys. You guys know where my stop is. I'll be watching, to see if we can kind of break through here maybe. Holding for a bullish move coming through here. NASDAQ is curling up again. Could continue. Look at where it's trading. Right back at the opening price. Not too far off from the high of the day. So we could see a good move there, guys. Okay, so we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day, guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. sharp for Friday session. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Thank you for all of the subscriptions, likes on YouTube. We do appreciate it. Have a good day, guys. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone on Zoom. I'm just going to get out of here, go to the washroom real quick. Dave should be coming in very, very soon. Have a good day. If you get some goals, get out of here. If you're still in drawdown, if you're still looking to get to break even, just look for some good quality setups. And the goal with drawdown is to just get back to break even, stay afloat, and tomorrow's another day. Okay. Have a great day, guys, from myself, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the live session of Stocks Never Trading. My name is Dave, guys. My partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.